No, maybe with the microphone. How about that? Okay, great. 12 years on the platform, still haven't figured things out. Welcome. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Welcome to the stream. Noble ones, thanks so much for stopping by. Really appreciate you taking time from your daily stuff. And how's the baby doing? Oh, baby's doing great. Baby's doing great. And differently from me, he's automatic US citizen because of the 14th Amendment. While for me, I had to go through naturalization process. But hey, it's all done almost. I mean, I need to do the ceremony yet. So I'm not a US citizen yet. I need to do the ceremony. Let's say things correctly. But I did pass the test. Everything went well. Happy to talk about it a little bit today, but we have so many things to talk about. We'll see how to squeeze it in. First and foremost, of course, if you have any question about like the test or something like that, feel free to ask. Thank you so much for everyone telling me congratulations. I really appreciate it. Very welcoming. American people are very welcoming, by the way. I love that. And thank you, Ray Gonzalez 4719 for the Metatron memberships. And thank you so much. Really appreciate that for the 5 Metatron memberships. We are here, noble ones, and we have so many things. I swear, every day, with each passing day, I become a little more of a European Asmongold in the sense that I'm increasing the number of tabs at the top of my streams. Now, it takes years to get to that level, so I don't have as many tabs, so many tabs you can't even read the first letter. For me, you can kind of read the first 3, so I still have a lot of work to do, but we've got a lot of things today, I can tell you that much. Thank you, great US, for telling me Metatron welcome, I appreciate that. Yeah, I aced the test. I got all answers correctly, all questions answered correctly, was great. But I mean, brother, I was prepared. I was prepared. I freaking memorized the whole thing. But honestly, because it's not just a matter of, chasing your dreams, becoming, living in the US, not having to worry about green card because that's how that works, right? Now, with naturalization, I don't have a green card anymore. I don't need it. I'm a citizen. I will be, not yet. I will be a citizen after the ceremony, which means I can just stay here. I'll get an American passport and all that. However, yeah, for me, it was even more important because apart from the fact that my business is here, but also my family is here, right? So I got to be able to be here to be with my son and all that. So I really studied that thing. Bro, I knew everything. Not only I got the answers right, it was verbatim right. Verbatim. I didn't even change a single letter. So that was me. Thank you, great. Appreciate you. Congrats on passing a citizenship test. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. One of us. Thank you, Annie. Annie. Onimus. Annie Onimus. I think I get it. Who will win the World Cup? I haven't got a clue, my friend. I don't know. Let me know, by the way, on a completely unrelated matter, if you can hear me normally and if you're hearing double voice. Because there was a stream where for like a good 20 minutes chunk, there was double voice. And I noticed that afterwards in editing. And brother, it was a bitch to edit to remove that problem. So do let me know if that happens so that I can sort of, salvage the situation as a noble savage that I am. I do have savage hairstyle, so I mean, at the end of the day. You know what's funny? I've seen some of you in the comments of my latest Nowlands Odyssey, my own Odyssey, in fact. You were telling me, dude, we get it, but are you close to being done? Are you done with the Nolan videos? And to that I say, that's cute. 1 video per inhabitant of Greece. Remember that. Remember that. But thank you so much, guys, for joining. Did you see the movie Disclosure Day? I didn't see it. I'd like to watch it because I always love alien shit. Being an alien myself, legally speaking. And I do want to go watch it. It looks intriguing. I love that kind of stuff. The only thing is that I watched some of the interviews. Is it true? I have to ask because I don't believe anything anymore. Like everything now needs to be established in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, as the Bible says, because I can't believe anything. I can't believe anything. So now they're saying that Spielberg said, allegedly, I didn't hear him say it, so I don't believe it, but allegedly he said that his movie is so good that it will make Christians doubt their faith. I don't know if he said that because, again, I don't believe stuff anymore. Anything I see on any social media platform, I immediately think, okay, that's probably bullshit. And then I double check it, and then I'm like, okay, it was true. That's how I have to do it. But if it is true and he said that, that's the stupidest thing on planet Earth because Christians, we already have an answer to that. For some Christians, it's kind of split, but for some Christians, they think, oh, aliens are demons. And I don't agree with that. I know some of you do. I don't. For other Christians, which would be my take, is all right, if there are aliens, they were created by God. And personally, I follow that line of thinking also because, I mean, it's a massive universe out there. So what's the point of creating such an enormous, vast expanse of matter to just populate a single planet? To me, the presence of other intelligent civilizations only adds to the glory of the Maker. So even if there isn't anyone, fine. But if there are aliens, it does not shake my faith in any way, shape, or form. I just don't understand the logics of it. Like I failed. Oh my gosh, there are aliens, so Jesus doesn't exist. How do you? I don't know. Anyways, this is not a stream about religion. It was just I wanted to say that, but I will go watch the movie. Looks interesting. Quizlet, $10. Thank you. Dislike. If Belfast has shown us anything, we have enough Africans. I don't know what that dislike. Oh, what? You're gonna be a troll. You have to be a troll. I think you're a troll. But hey, $10. Troll or meaning? I don't care. That's lunch. Tori623, welcome. We're happy to have you as an American brother. Thank you so much. Go buy that wonderful babies and diapers. Thank you so much. $20, that gives me probably what? About 200 to 250 diapers. Probably 200 because my wife is on the expensive side when it comes to diapers. But thank you very much. I appreciate the diaper fund. The diaper fund is adorable. Matthew, my good friend from Sri Lanka, just became a citizen a few years ago. Good for him. He's a Catholic too. You would like him. Oh, I'm sure I would. I'm sure I would. Let me see. Exactly. What if aliens are angels? You know what? By the way, some of those Bible verses are actually written when it comes to the description of some of the celestial beings. They do look like, yeah, you would look at that and think that's an alien, probably. So I'm ecstatic for you. Thank you so much, Dalomar. Really appreciate that. The Belfast situation is legitimately insane. It's one of the things we'll cover just at Texan 7 today, because as I say, massive stream, lots of tabs. But I'm going to move, maybe I'll do that towards the middle of the stream. I don't really want to start with that. But yes, thank you for being a member for so long, random person 6433. Unfortunately, I have to go to work. Congrats for better American than some of us born here. Welcome, but probably not better than people who are born here. But I mean, unless they're complete insane lunatics. But still, they're more Americans than me. Even if I'm an American citizen, I want to try, bring respect to the country, respect to the culture. That's what I want to do. Positive, a net positive. But people who were born here, if they say one thing, I will respect it because to me, it's still their country. It is also my country, but it's their country more. That's how I look at it anyways, but it's just me. Thank you, Matty. Can you spare a few minutes to skim through a video I time travel to ancient Rome vlog and comment on it? Maybe a pedantic analysis is worth it. I think I know what you're talking about. It's AI generated, isn't it? It's that AI channel. I don't remember if I have reacted to it and forgot to edit it. Because I am still doing all the edits, by the way. I'm considering looking for an editor for like videos that don't require too much work. But I am the one doing all the edits because I notice people asking me in the comments with the introductions to my Nowlands content. And they're like, well, who's your editor? I'm like, no, it's me. I'm the one losing his mind in the middle of the night doing all that Nowland stuff. It's me. It's absolutely me. We love immigrants. We love our country. Absolutely. Absolutely. Congratulations, glad to have you as a fellow American. Thank you so much, appreciate that. Chase Michio says, I don't have much time to hang around, but congrats on passing your test. Thank you so much. I'm glad you have you here. May God continue to bless you. Appreciate that. Thank you for your support. How are things on Twitch, by the way? USA. Yeah. Oh, I need to get an American flag and put it in the background. That's what I need to do. Yeah. Welcome, brother. Thank you. It's just Kelly, yo. Appreciate that. Thank you. It's just Kelly, you're also for subscribing at tier 1 on Twitch. I really appreciate that. Nice. Metatron is an American now, technically after the ceremony, but yes. So, how are things on Rumble? Rumble is working. Congratulations. Thank you, Mount Godzi. It's cool that I can. It's good that, multi streaming is one thing that if you have ever considered streaming, you should absolutely do. There is no reason not to. If you have a fast enough connection, and if not, you should invest in it on one and multi stream. It's just the best thing you can do. To be honest, get the 250th American flag. It's epic. Oh, I'll check that out. What does it look like? Does it have eagles and something? Yeah. Thank you, Jimmy Bamish 8645. I really appreciate your support. We're gonna have a good stream today, guys. I got, as I say, I want to show you how many tabs. Now, you'll see my Twitter for a second, but just to show you what we're talking about, we got the one at the top left is the live streaming tab that allows me to keep track of connection, and this is the image generator with which I created the thumbnail. In fact, I could close that one, but then all the rest is like it's say, oh, tap 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 tap, like it keeps going, underneath my my camera here, which I should make a little bigger. So let's do that. All right, cool stuff. So yeah, no, I've got a lot, and we'll jump into it very quickly. Now I'm gonna go back to full camera, but I forgot to deactivate the intro, so the intro will begin for 1 second, and I'll stop it. Okay. There we go. I'm learning. It takes me time, I guess, to learn how to do things properly. It's kind of funny because I see all of these new streamers. They're very young and they already do everything perfectly. And I'm here after 12 years and I'm still like, oh, wait, I forgot to do this. I forgot to do that. The microphone is not working. The camera is not. That's me. What can I say? When it comes to technology, I'm a floppy disk guy. This is Terminator 2 from Amiga 500. It will not. It will not. I will play this after the stream. I've even got a blank floppy disk for saving for another game. Thank you, Inkpenification. Good supporter of the stream. You passed, huh? So does that mean you'll own a grill? I already do. And watch Top Gun? Already have. Also, have you seen Evil Diaz Cross Talk? Let's play in Mandarin. No, I haven't. And that's one thing we wanted to do, because for those who don't know, on my second channel, Metatron's Academy, I've actually started, because I'm practicing my Mandarin, Chinese. It's a language I'm studying actively this year. And I've been filming and recording entire playthroughs of horror games that I play, but I play them in Mandarin. All my commentary while I play is in Mandarin Chinese, and I do that for practice. And so because I posted a few videos like that, then he actually told me, do you want to do one together? And I'll have to see. I said yes, but then I had a baby and a citizenship test. So you can imagine that didn't really. Maybe one day we'll do it, though. It will be really fun. His Chinese is better than mine. I mean, his wife is Chinese, but his Chinese is better than mine. But I think we should be able to have a good time. But thank you for reminding me. Thank you, Joseph, for the support. And Sorcerer 115, Raffaello, speaking of casting, do you think Matt Damon could strictly physically pass for a Greek in ancient Greece as opposed to Lupita Nyong'o? All right, that's a very good question that you're asking. And I'm going to give you the real answer rather than the condescending answer that you get from a certain type of people on YouTube. Although I won't go into the details because I have a video dedicated to it. But the reality is, does Matt Damon look exactly like a Mediterranean Greek? No, there are some characteristics of his phenotype that are distinct, right, from people in the Mediterranean. But he is 100% closer physically to someone from Greece or the Mediterranean than a black African, and that's just the truth. So the people that tell you that everything, like that a Germanic person, an English person, an Irishman, an Italian, a Frenchman are all equally different from, again, Mediterranean people. I mean, some Italians are Mediterranean, but you know what I mean? From Southern Europeans, then someone from Africa, they are virtue signaling. It's not true. It's not true. And there is and it's not a matter, of course, this has nothing to do with trying to excluding people. It's just the reality of biology. And here is a very simple way to prove that. Because I know that there will be some people that will shake that. Oh, what do you mean that an Irishman is closer to an Italian, for instance, or a Greek than someone from Nigeria? It's the reality, but there will be people be like, oh, is that racism? Let me prove to you why it's not. If you cast a Chinese person, a Vietnamese person, or a Korean to play a Japanese character in history, we can agree that, the Japanese might resent that. They'll be like, but she's not Japanese. And don't give me that all Asians look the same, because it's false. There are differences between Asians as well, right? But are we going to pretend that someone from Korea or someone from China is equally physically and phenotypically different from someone from Japan than someone from Scandinavia? The reality is, of course not. So it's the same thing. Someone from France and Ireland, yes, they look different from someone from Greece or Sicily, but not as different as someone from Africa. It's just how it is. That's just the reality of it. And they will be totally okay to accept that within the Asian framework because the external factor is white, but they're not okay saying it when the external factor is black because they're afraid of being called racist. It's not about racism, it's about phenotypic trait differentiation. It's the reality of it. It's just how it is. Hey, Dr. Nos, so good to have you here with a tick. Good channel, good channel. I wish I had hair like bro. Thank you, appreciate that. I mean, to be honest, it's funny because the length of my hair is actually one of the things that people on Reddit use as a form of attack. I think they're jealous. But here's the thing. Even if you think that my hair is like a mess, I look like a Neanderthal, whatever you want, bro, still, I think it can be a point of pride to have this, okay, at age 44. Thank you very much. So there is that. But you can hate it or like it, but or be indifferent to it. But I do appreciate that. Thank you, Dr. Nos. It's one of those things. It's one of those things. LJ says, ni hao. Ni hao to you. Ni hao to you. Congratulations. Thank you, Dr. Nos, for the super chat. Guys, go check out the channel. Absolutely go check out the channel. Good supporter. And that's that. Marine, thank you. Congratulations. Just wished all the privileges weren't sold out by the progs. Also get a GUN. Oh, I already have it. Depending on what state, the Second Amendment, it's different meanings. Yeah, no, I can carry. Already checked with my lawyer. I can carry for personal defense here. Cool. Jesus had long hair. I agree. Believe it or not, they are trying to change that one, but yeah. I actually wish I had hair to be proud of. Hey, there are some guys that rock like that shaved head, particularly if you combine it with a good beard. I think that's phenomenally solid look. I like it a lot. Your hair is cool, very Merovingian. You're actually correct. Yeah, Merovingian kings in the Middle Ages, 100%. But that in fact, to be fair, in the Middle Ages itself, my hair would be strange, the length, because it's too long. But even medieval knights, they had kind of long hair, but generally it reaches the shoulders. It's like medieval women that have super long hair, or Merovingian kings. So yeah, if in that context, then they would just think, okay, this guy is nobility. That's what they would think, and that's how it is. What type of GUN? I'm a revolver guy. It's just something about it. It's I like revolvers. They don't. The reason why I like revolvers is because, to me, they are the most reliable, because it basically almost never happened that they fail. Whereas semi-automatic, they're great, fantastic, but they can fail. And it happened because, of course, I do go to the range, and it has happened. So when I saw that, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to take any chances. I'm a revolver man. Now, for a woman, I actually wouldn't recommend a revolver, because the reality is a lot of women don't have the strength to use a revolver. And if you do, then good. But I'm saying in general, on average, I would say whatever. You have to go test the revolver you get at the range to make sure you can pull it. Okay? But for me, yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem. So, yeah. Makarev asks, are you officially American now after the swearing, the swear-in ceremony? So technically not yet, but it's gonna happen. I'm gonna get a letter in the mail, sorry, where I will go. So some states do it immediately, and other states, I guess it depends on the state's population and how busy they are. But some states, you do it like after 30 days. So I will be technically a U.S. citizen after the ceremony, but the ceremony is just like you can't fail it. It's kind of a ritual, but I've already passed the test and everything. The civics questions, they're definitely harder now. Some were like super easy. Who's the Speaker of the House? Mike Johnson. Who's the current sitting President of the United States? Donald J. Trump. Like some were very easy, uh, stuff that like everybody knows. Some where there was a whole section on history, and fun enough, I didn't need to study that one. Already knew everything. I only had to review a couple of dates. So like 4th of July, 1776 for the Declaration of Independence, or that those kind of dates are the ones that I needed to review. Or like there are 27 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. I didn't know the exact number. There are 100 senators. Uh, they serve for 6 years. So these things, the civics aspect of it, I needed to study. Or like there are 435 members of the House of Representatives, the two parts of Congress, Senate and the House of Representatives. So those you needed to study. But there are some questions that are objectively hard to memorize. So, and to me, that's good. Like I had to memorize them verbatim. And I think it's good. They should make it not like it's extremely difficult, but something that shows that you're putting in the effort. And then like why there are 50 stars on the flag, because there is one star per each state, or like why there are 13 stripes, because there were 13 original colonies. All the questions about World War II, World War One. I mean, I'm a history guy, I already knew all of those. But I think it's a good test. I actually enjoyed studying it because all the civics part was fun, like to understand how the amendments work in the Constitution, Thomas Jefferson, all the names, Alexander Hamilton, one of the writers of the Federalist Papers. Man, now that I studied for it, I can make a video about it, to be honest. But it was fun. I enjoyed it very much. It was not anything. And then there is the section about where they test your English, which again, I think it's based. If you come to America, you need to be able to speak English. Now, it was a very basic test. And in my case, I think I don't even know why they had to test me, since I am officially certified. I'm a C2 in English. But whatever, I'm fine with it. She gave me like a sentence to read, and I read it. And then she's like did a little dictation, which I did. But I can see, because the officer speaks very fast, so I can see how someone who does not speak English is going to have trouble. And yeah, this is America. You need to learn English. It's also a form of respect. And by the way, I think they're being fair, because if you're over 65, they give you an exemption. So they don't expect, if you're an old guy, they give you an exemption. But if you are my age or younger, yeah, of course, you need at least basic English. We're not expecting like high levels of proficiency, but at least basic English to be able to communicate, you know? When you're doing the ceremony, I still don't know, but even after they tell me, I won't reveal it, because I have to keep things private for obvious reasons. There are a lot of people that hate me, so I'm not taking any chances. But I will film a little bit of it if they allow. I will ask the officers if I'm allowed to share the footage, and if they say yes, I'll share some of the footage. Yeah. Did you give them a Latin test? No, but one of the questions has to do with Latin, because they want to know the meaning of e pluribus unum, which is out of many one, as one of the questions. So yeah, they asked about George Washington, father of our country. It's good stuff. Benjamin Franklin, the founding fathers. I actually genuinely enjoyed studying for it. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's good fun. I kind of miss studying for it now. I might keep reviewing it just for fun. Congratulations, thank you, appreciate that. Thank you, Thantras. It's good to have you here. CTAM says, do you support birthright citizenship? Yes, but only when it's not done for malicious intentions or like anchor baby stuff, then no. But I'm going to be honest, I mean, you might think I'm biased, but I am happy that my son is automatically an American citizen. But in this case, I mean, why wouldn't he be? He's born here. He's going to be, I will bring him up and tell him to be proud of being an American first and to appreciate this country. And then to also be proud of his Italian ancestry. I mean, he will be brought up bilingual. Absolutely will speak Italian and English. Well, English and Italian. But for sure, like, yeah, he's going to be an Italian American, and that's great. Metatron more American than certain congressmen. Bro, I swear, today we're going to review some laws that have been passed, some bills, and I just don't get it. Some of the stuff, it's just so... anti everything that has to do with the West that I'm so confused that there is even a modicum of support for these kind of things. We'll review it. It's going to be one of the things you'll see. But yeah, congrats from a neighbor of the Great White North. Thank you. Appreciate it. Some Americans can't answer those questions. It's pathetic. Yeah, that's oftentimes a problem with the educational system. And I'm going to say this when it comes to education, and I'm going to complain about this not only when it comes to America, but also Europe. It's the same thing. I think we should spend less time memorizing poems from the 16th century. And I love the Middle Ages. I love the Renaissance. So it's great and all. But I think we should spend less time with stuff that the students are going to forget or that they're not going to be congruent with the kind of jobs and careers that they're going to have. Of course, teach them appreciation for the classics, for Greco-Roman society, all of that. But it's absurd that you finish school and you don't know how you pay taxes. You don't know how to look for a job. You never practice a job interview. You objectively don't learn a second language. Yeah, you study them, but it's not done in a way that you actually finish high school and you're multilingual. And at the same time, I think I would get rid of all of the LGBTQ plus stuff completely, all the nonsense with the non-binary this and the flags and the trans. I would get rid of all of that. And instead, I would increase the amount of time students spend with civics education, and within that civics education, so learning about all of these things, the laws of the country. It's important to know the law also because ignorance of the law is not an excuse, so you might as well learn it. And then I would, when it comes to anything that has to do with that, I would say teach them to not be bullies. Teach students from an early stage, don't mistreat someone just because they look different from you, or in general, they are different for their sexuality, for the way they speak, whatever. And that's all you really need to do. We don't need to indoctrinate children into they, them, and we don't need that. We don't need the flags. We just need to teach students and give them positive reinforcement that when you don't act like a bully and you act like a decent human being, there is a positive reinforcement. You are praised in class. That's what you should do. And then when it comes to sexuality, teach nothing to the children when they are really young, and instead, because that should be the parents' job. But when you talk to teenagers in a age-appropriate way, tell them to be careful and to not, that kind of sensitivity, and to make sure that they are prepared and understand, they're cognizant of what the dangers and all of that. That's fine. But yeah. I think we should spend more time. The history is fantastic. Learn history, world history, all those things. But we need to prepare students for university. Maybe even try to figure out what their skills seem to be. Like, oh, this kid is really good with languages. Well, let's tell him how languages are actually studied at university, for instance. Or this kid is really good with logic. So this kid is really good at maths, and try to do an orientation, which I know they do. I just think we don't spend enough time, because then students end up getting a freaking degree in gender studies, which means orientation failed. I'm just going to be straight with you guys. At least I tell you what I think. At least I tell you what I think. And then if you disagree with me, feel free to tell me why, and I will listen to your point of view. But anyways, a great U.S. treasure. Lupita Nyong'o went to a private American college, Hampshire, and then Yale, and was never taught the Odyssey. I know. I mean, again, I don't know if this is a European thing, but back in Italy, every student in middle school learns the Iliad and the Odyssey and the Aeneid. We read them. Already by the end of middle school, you have read them. It's just how it is. It's a necessary part of the curriculum. And then in high school as well, depending on what high school you choose, you might actually read it in ancient Greek. That depends. They do that, but only for some students. Hey, Cody, congratulations. Couldn't be happier to call your fellow countrymen. The United States is a better place with you in it. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My favorite revolver is the Mateba Unica 6 ETA on the next reaction to Potato Crusader 17. So, oh yeah, I'll do it. I don't think I can do it today, but I will add it to the list. And if we have enough time, I'll react to that song. But bro, the original song was phenomenal. That guy's killing me. So Potato Crusader 17 song number 2. We might do it. We might do it. We'll see how things are looking. Makes sense. I've always wanted to learn Latin, even though it's officially a dead language. It's true, but when you say dead language, it's important to understand it doesn't mean that it's a language no one speaks, nor does it mean that it's a language that can't be learned, mastered, or that you can't learn how to speak. It just means it doesn't have native speakers. That's all what dead language means. And that's it. Because oftentimes when people say dead language, they associate it with, oh, so it's impossible to actually speak it. No, there are at least last time I checked, 18,000 to 20,000 speakers of Latin. The people that actually are capable of speaking it at a decent level. So you can always study it if that's what you enjoy. Yeah, 18-year-olds should also learn about credit and how to manage a bank. Absolutely. How about financial literacy? When you see the kind of, my wife is really into watching like this channel that shows like these TikToks where these people are like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt because they just don't know how to say no to themselves, and they have to continuously buy stuff they can't afford. They cannot say they can't afford something. They go into monumental amounts of debt over nothing, over stuff they don't need. And a little bit of financial literacy, I think, will go a great length into explaining why a credit card is not a magical wand that just makes your debts or this, you go poof. So, yeah, that too. TSPLY, hey there, thank you. We got another YouTuber here. Congrats, Tron. Been a massive fan when you only had like 50,000 subs. Gosh, you've been around for a very long time, haven't you? I really appreciate that. Thank you. And also thank you, Azraleos Guy, for gifting 1 tier sub on Twitch. Really appreciate that. Hello to everyone on Rumble right now who's following along. Really appreciate that. Yeah, of course, yeah, right, you're right. My wife is American. She's already. Yeah. So yeah, my son is literally half. All right, let's jump into it. But of course, I will still read the super chats, obviously. But we're gonna jump right into it. So I'm gonna move the 1 second because we got a lot of ground to cover. Just gonna move the list of things to talk about to the left of the screen, and not that you need to know that, but I told you anyways, and there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, so let me close the ones we don't need. All right, so I'm just picking one. We're gonna do some Nolan now. You know that, right? You know we're gonna do some Nolan. We will do that. I just want to jump into something that is a little shorter first. How about we look at, man, there's the Canadian bill. There's so much to talk about. I don't even know how. Oh, and I want to talk about Eevee and the new Stellar Blade. We're going to do that one too. Okay, let me just, you know what? I'm going to do now the one that I'm looking forward to the least. So I get done with it because it's a topic that makes my blood boil. So I'm just going to go quickly through it. So then we move on to more pleasant topics because honestly, it's just one of those things. Anyways, as the first topic of the stream, I would like to talk about the situation with Carmelo Anthony and give you my opinion. And I know I don't really need to explain, but I'll just give you a mini little recap, like literally 3 seconds. This murderer here on the left stabbed this innocent guy into the heart and offed him. Okay, so he's dead. They are young students, both of them. They are students. And he got convicted for it, even though the lawyers were trying to claim self-defense, which is ridiculous because, yes, they had a little bit of an altercation, verbal altercation, because he didn't want him to be under their tent when it comes to university sports stuff. And apparently, for what we know, something happened in the likes of he told him, touch me and see what happens. So he did touch him, meaning that I think he did a little push or something like that. So he took a dagger and stabbed him in the heart, which is, of course, excessive violence. You don't do that. And for some reasons, there are people that are upset that this guy got 35 years in prison. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to give you my straight, direct, immediate opinion when it comes to this. I think that Carmelo Anthony deserves to never leave that jail cell. He needs life in prison. That's what I think. That's what I think. And I also think that it's atrocious that people are making it racial, because people are absolutely making it racial. They're saying that, oh, the government, or I don't know what, white supremacists are trying to make him an example because he's black. But that's like you're living on a different planet. You're living on a different planet, because nobody cares that he's black. What I care about is that you don't stab someone in the heart because you think they're racist. Okay? And I don't even care if the white kid was racist or not in this case. Maybe he was not racist. Maybe he was racist. Who cares? It's still not, words do not justify a stabbing. And that's the reality. And yes, we are making an example of him. You're absolutely right, we're making an example of him. An example to everyone who thinks that just because you're going to play your victim card, that you can get away with murder. Cold-blooded. Not to mention the level of disgusting retaliation. Okay, there are people that are screaming justice for Carmelo, blah, 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 out the court. And the simple idea that the parents of the victim had to see that, to me, like, I don't know. I put myself always in the place, in the shoes of the parents, okay? So when it's the parents of a victim, and the idea that there are people now, there is a trend, I'll show you. I hate having to see this. Let me see if I can find it, but there is a trend now whereby there are all of these people that, for some reasons, they think that he was justified in stabbing someone in the heart. There's this trend on TikTok now that they are literally pissing on the victim's grave. And they know that the parents, there we go, I found it, I'm going to show it. Okay? Now, this is disgusting, and I hope that these people lose their jobs. Now, please listen to my words carefully, because they will be misconstrued. I'm not saying I want government intervention, because this is ugly, this is disgusting, but it's still protected speech. I don't want the government to arrest them, but I want whoever is employing these people, I want their faces everywhere, so that they can have social repercussions, not governmental repercussions, First Amendment. But there are social repercussions. I want people to be disgusted, and employers to be like, oh, that's what you do? I don't want you in my job, which is an absolutely based thing to do, and has nothing to do with First Amendment rights. Okay? Nothing to do. First Amendment only protects you from government intervention, and I don't want people to be arrested over this. Which takes, by the way, a lot of self-constraint, because the idea that there is a grieving father and the mom. Now, what do I think then of the parents of the murderer? Because I am going to call him for what he is. Well, of course, it's still parents, right? So I can see how the parents, it depends on what they say, okay? Because I can see if you are the father or you are the mom, you want to believe your son. And you want to believe, no, it was self-defense. You want to believe it? Well, you're the parent. I can understand it, but it depends, because if they're going to make it racial again, then the parents can go fuck themselves if they make it racial again. But if they don't, they're just like, I can understand, okay? I can understand that they want to believe that their son is innocent. Still doesn't change the verdict, though, because the son was not innocent. So I can sympathize with the tragedy that this is also for the parents of the fucking murderer. But he is a murderer. And what he should have done is leave the tent. Or he could, if I'm sorry that Austin, I think, is the name of the victim. If Austin said something ugly to him, well, speak back. Insult him back. No one is going to think anything of it. Right? Insult him back. Call him whatever you want. If he used racially charged language, which I don't think he did, there is no reason to believe, but if he did, we'll use the same back. Nobody cares. This idiot's life is over. 35 years in prison. And again, I think he deserves life. But even if we don't get life and he gets 35 years in prison, you know what that means? It's still like this idiot threw away his life. And for what? To play tough guy with the white kid? Congratulations, you're an absolute clown. Because the reality is, the white kid, for the people on X, because there is a guy on X who is an absolute disgusting. His name is the Black Tucker Carlson, I think. Let me see. Yeah, there he is. This guy is, I don't even know how he hasn't been arrested, because this guy, the stuff that he says is actually, in my opinion, I'm not a lawyer, but it's literally like pushing for violence towards white people. This guy is, I don't know how the government, how the FBI has knocked on his door yet, but he has posted stuff like this. I'd rather be behind bars than looking up at us, meaning that Austin is dead, right? He has done this. He has posted this. I learned my lesson, like as if, okay. So this disgusting individual, unfortunately, it's a representation of, look at this. I mean, look at this. Of course, it's the same people that laughed. It's Charlie Kirk all over again. It's the lack of empathy and compassion towards victims that the very people that cry compassion and empathy lack. They tell us that we need to be compassionate, and then they do this. So I'm just going to say this, and this is real. This is real. I truly believe it. Like, you can think whatever you want, okay? I'll read the super chat in a second. You can think whatever. You can believe this, but it's false, just like the majority. Like, you probably think men can get pregnant. You haven't got a clue about reality, biological, religious, all of it. The reality is that Austin, the victim, is going to be in heaven, okay? This kid is going to waste his entire life behind bars. He's never going to have a girlfriend. He's never going to get married. He's never going to have the good things in life. This kid is finished. And if he doesn't repent, he'll burn in hell. So you can laugh all you want, you anti-white racist scum, but the reality is this. That's the reality of it. Congratulations on passing your U.S. citizenship exam. Have you sworn in already? Not yet, Octane, but thanks so much. I really appreciate that. And Captain says, also, congratulations on test. I really appreciate that. Nolan, says Captain Ryan. I appreciate that. We're going to go into Nolan as well. Don't worry about it. We'll get into Nolan. Thank you, Tantrus, for the $10 diaper fund support. I really appreciate that. Guys, what I want to say about this, because there is a lot of, I think, mischaracterization. And these days, you can't believe anything. Whatever you read, everybody say, they say something, they mean something else. This is the reality. This should not be political. It should not be racial. It should just be a matter of you don't stab people in the heart. It's that simple. If you're white, don't stab a black kid in the heart. If you're black, don't stab a white kid in the heart. That's how it should be. And anyone who is manipulating this into being, oh, this is racial because the kid was black, that's why he was incarcerated. No, he was being incarcerated because he stabbed someone in the heart. This is the reality of it. And who you see here, this is the twin brother who had to see his own twin brother Austin die in his arms. It's a tragedy. This family's life is finished. You think that dad and the mom are gonna ever have peace? It's and now, I have a son now, and the idea that something like that could happen, and then there is gonna be people who are gonna say, yeah, he deserved it because of the color of his skin. Where are we even going? Where are we even going? It's easy to be a decent individual. If someone is guilty, it doesn't matter what they look like, their ethnic makeup, genetic, ancestral origins. I don't care. Are they guilty? Yes. Okay, belong in jail. Are they a victim? Yes. Okay, then they did nothing wrong. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. How do people understand? Anyways, I want to share on a positive note, because otherwise I get aggravated. When I see people laughing at death, I get aggravated. And before people, because they'll tell me you only complain when it's left-wingers who laugh at death, like Charlie Kirk and this and that, but you never complain when it's right-wingers. Bro, I've complained about both when, what's his name? Robert, what was his name? I always forget the name. The guy in Hollywood who got stabbed, super left-wing, mega anti-Trump guy. He got murdered by his own drug-addicted son. Some people were laughing at him, and I made a post. I said, guys, I did hate this guy's politics, but come on. He got stabbed in his own bed by his son. It's atrocious. Let's not laugh at it. I'm very consistent. Yes, of course, if I have a bunch of liberals who laugh at someone who dies because they're conservatives, they're fucking scum. But at the same time, if I've got a bunch of conservatives who laugh at a transgender person because they offed themselves and threw themselves in a train, I'm like, that's not, this person was mentally ill because they, and that I'm not using that as an insult. If someone misgenders you and you throw yourself under a train, you have a mental condition, right? It's the reality, and it's a tragedy. My heart aches for them. I wish they could have had the help they needed, which I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think it's chopping yourself off your body. I'm just going to be honest with you. But I hope that they had help, that they could find happiness, that they could feel and find a way to find happiness in who they are and how their body looks. I do. I feel for them. Let's not laugh at death. And I've even done that a couple of times with Trump. I made a post when I said, I didn't like the way Trump worded this, and that post got me like 4 million views. It's not like nobody saw it, but it Reddit never happened. Never. Oh, Metatron only complains about liberals. Yes, I will. I always will. The split second I see a progressive laughing at Charlie Kirk, I want to flip by that table. That's how it is. Okay? But at least I am being concise and consistent. Concise, no, but consistent, yes. You open any Reddit page dedicated to me, they're feeding you lies, and that's how it is. But for a better note, before I explode, and then I check all the super chats, this was my first meal after passing US citizenship test, which was IHOP. I like IHOP. There are some people, actually, that got offended, and they were telling me, oh, why IHOP? It's trash. Bro, that thing was great. Given I prefer Cracker Barrel. I wish they didn't refurbish because it looks like shit. But the one in our location, I think they reverted back to kind of how it looked before. Cracker Barrel is fine. IHOP is fine. Of course, I know, I'm aware that mom and pops run restaurants in the US are the best. I agree. But I really wanted IHOP, so shut up. I wanted these, the New York style pancakes. They were great. I wanted the toast, the French toast. I wanted the everything, the bacon and eggs. Now given, some people, I guess I want to say it. Some people were telling me, bro, you're a little light on bacon and eggs. That's not a real American. Brother, come on. This is, you know this. This is my wife here. Do you think she's going to eat all of her bacon and sausage? Of course not, which means I'm going to get double. Like, I already know this. I'm already way ahead of you. She has the appetite of a little tiny bird, which means she's going to eat a little bit of these. She's going to eat a little bit of hash browns. She's going to begin, just ever so slightly begin her meal. And then she's going to be like, oh, I'm full, which means I get to eat everything. I'm going to eat all of this. I ate all of this, everything. Okay. Just wanted you to know this. Very important. Very important. Okay. And yeah, no, I liked it. I love American food. I'm just gonna be honest with you, because American food is not just fast food. I mean, it depends where you go, right? It's kind of addictive. American food. Rob Reiner, yeah, that was the name. Thank you. Thank you, Dovakin11. You say, speaking as a twin, we are usually a lot closer than other siblings, so I would imagine the twin is under extreme mental anguish right now. You know who said this? Matt Walsh said this. I rarely comment on Matt Walsh's stuff because I'm going to be honest with you. I get bored with political things. I know, shocking, but he's right. He says, I have twin boys. The image of this kid holding his dying brother in his arms fills me with grief and rage. If you feel no sympathy for Osin's family, then you're not human. Well, you are a human, but I understand what he means. Like, you're not humane. You have no soul. I understand that 100%. Insane at times, we would exile you from society. You don't deserve to live among us. I mean, I 100% agree with his sentiment here. And there will be the people say, so are you saying you agree with everything he says? Go fuck yourself. I'm not even going to dignify you with that. But I agree with this. I agree with this. He's right. He's right. He's right. Oh my gosh. So yeah, the Carmelo Anthony thing, I watched, and then we'll move to the next topic, but I have watched some of I'm looking for the pictures. I had some pictures here, there we go. I watched the footage of the father speaking, for instance. So there is this part here, and then there is the dad speaking, killing of Austin Metcalf. Atrocious, absolutely atrocious. And there are let me see if I can get an image of the dad, because that's another thing that it points. Let me see if I can see it. Victim's father. It points to how much political discourse reshapes the way and this happens regardless of what political position you have. It just happens with political talk. There we go. So it shows you how much political propaganda reshapes the way you perceive events. This is the dad. Okay? He has spoken publicly. I cannot even begin to comprehend his mental state. I don't. But there are people that are mad because apparently he said something that was kind of racist towards his son's murderer. Are we really gonna complain about a father who is being mean towards the, murderer of his son? That's where we're gonna go. Really. I want. By the way, we need to see if it's really racist. Let me see. It is easier to stand in a courtroom and call Carmelo Anthony a failure. I don't call him a failure. I call him a murderer. Than it is to admit that Austin's death did not begin with the knife Patton wrote. What? It began with every lesson that holds your son that he had the right to approach, challenge, and cross a boundary. There is something in law called excessive use of force that completely nullifies any possible idea of self-defense. This is that case. It began with every adult who smiled at white boy entitlement. Oh my gosh, who writes this nonsense? And I'll see what the article is. And leadership, call it what? It began with every cultural script that taught him black boys are the ones to be feared. But, well, in this case, they were right. Of course, it doesn't mean every black person is like that. Nobody with a brain thinks it. But, I mean, you can't use this line in a situation where this guy got stabbed in the heart for speech and a little push. But never taught him that black boys might also be afraid. Right, and if you're afraid, you leave. Look like this. She also alleged that Jeff's victim impact statement was rooted in racism, homing in on Jeff saying that Anthony does not belong in the community because of what he did. But that's true, though. Notice, that guy does not belong in this community. He belongs in jail, Anthony. Is it saying because of his genes? Is he saying because of his DNA? Is he saying because of the phenotypic traits? That it's saying because of what he did. Yes, absolutely. You don't belong. So it's not even a racist statement. You don't belong in this community. It's not just a father's grief spilling over, Patton wrote. It is a declaration of removal. Oh my gosh, the stupid. You see what I mean, guys? When I say extreme propaganda, particularly when you're told you're a victim, you're the oppressed class, when you keep telling you this, then you look at reality. But your filters are so thick, what you see is a shapeless, distorted caricature of what is real. You don't see reality anymore. Nobody cares that he was black. We care that he stabbed the guy. When I say nobody, I'm being hyperbolic. Yes, there are some actual racists that are like, they exist, fine. They're a minority. They don't even count in percentages of the people that want justice here. Also, because as you see, and you know what proves that I'm right and they're just a minority? Because if it was the majority, you would have so much better ammo than you don't belong in this community because of what you did. So if you have to use this and manipulate it to a way that you need to tell us, this grieving father, no, it's not because his son is dead. It's because the guy was black. And when he says this, he actually means that. If you have to do that level of mental manipulation, it means you've got nothing. Am I making logical sense here? Politics aside. And it is the language of somebody who believes he has the authority to decide who gets to stay, who must disappear, and whose presence contaminates the social order. Like father, like son. So, this is the next level of victim blaming, of course. I can't even believe that this is where we are going. There is so much to unpack here. So let me say it. They say, it is a declaration of removal. That's exactly what we do within the legal justice. I don't like calling it justice system because oftentimes it's not just. Look at, for example, the UK. But in this case, it is just. So it is the legal system. That's exactly what we do. Someone murders. When it wasn't self-defense, we remove them from the rest of society because they do it once. They're probably going to continue doing it if we get away with it. So we put them in a separate location, aka prison. That's how it works. That's exactly what it works. It's called removal. That's what law enforcement does. Then they say it is the language of somebody. This is important that they complain about the language because a lot of this was rooted in language control because you control the way a people speaks. You control the way they think. That's how it is. So the language you're using, they want to control everything you say, how you say it. And do remember that this is the same line of thinking of the people that tell you language is violence, which is a very dangerous statement to say, as this demonstrated by this and many other occurrences. It's very dangerous to think that language is violence, because when you say that, then you justify it. You basically are beginning the grounding for the justification layer of physical violence is an acceptable answer to verbal violence because it's violence. No. When someone is abusing you verbally, you either ignore them or you insult them back. And by the way, if you choose the latter, I'm cool with it. Someone calls you something and you tell them, motherfucker, that's fine. Totally fine. Fair. I'd say fair. It's fine. Or you can be the bigger individual and say, like, I'm just going to ignore him. That's fine too. This idea that someone uses ugly language towards you, and we got to a point where we think that there are some magical words that when they are uttered, well, then now I can stab them to death. Yeah, there are people that think that. Carmelo Anthony was one of these people, and we need to make an example. Fuck around and find out. You're going to do it, you end up in prison. That's how it is. And of course, I would say that even if the roles were reversed, and it was the white kid that didn't like what the black kid said and then stabbed him, yeah, of course, no, you can't do that. It's really that simple. That's why Europe is infected. Europe is a mess. But as you'll see, Canada is also really, really bad when it comes to what you can and cannot say. And in fact, there was a recent bill that has been passed. We'll cover it very soon as one of the things we'll cover today. Let's finish up this debauchery. And then he says the father believes he has the authority to decide who gets away and stay. No, that would be the law. And guess what? Whether you agree or disagree with the law doesn't allow you to break it. That's just how it is. If you don't like it, I don't want to live in a society where scared black kid doesn't get away with stabbing the heart of a weaponless white kid because of their speech or because he touched him. So, I don't know, he wanted to play thug, I guess. Be like, oh, look, you told me not to touch you and I touched you. What you going to do about it? Although then again, that's kind of whatever. I don't want to live in a society where I can't just murder people and get away with it. Fine, leave. Go somewhere else. Move to a different country where you think that the law follows more, connects with the way you think life should happen. Nobody's going to stop you. I can tell you that. Oh, gosh. Who contaminates the social order? Yeah, actually, I do think that murderers contaminated the social order. I believe that. 100%. 100%. 100%. So anyways, I think, let me see. I don't even know. My argument is simple. Let's see. Black children are children. Congratulations for stating an obvious biological fact of reality. Has nothing to do whatsoever with this, though. Patton said, okay. Who's this Patton, by the way? Do you guys know? I'll look it up. They do not become monsters because white America needs one. Bro, he stabbed someone in the heart. I mean, and their humanity is not up for debate because a verdict has been rendered. Okay. This is unbelievable. This is next level gaslighting, guys. This is next level gaslighting. Holy mother of Skyrim. What was the title of this? You failed your son first. Howard Professor. Oh, you're going to be joking. Howard Professor? blames father's value after Carmelo Anthony's murder. What about at this point the father of this murderer's values? I mean, have you even questioned that? Personally, I wouldn't blame either of the parents unless we have proof to do it, because innocent until proven guilty. And the only person who was proven guilty is, this piece of shit. Dr. Stacey Patton published a subtract opinion piece a day after Carmelo Anthony was sentenced to 35 years in prison. Guys, I am flabbergasted. When I edit this back, I'm going to put this section first so that people know that the nonsense we're reading is not coming from a random TikToker, but it's coming from Howard Professor. You're telling me Patton is a black female professor at HBU. I am amazed. I gotta read the beginning. A Howard University professor tore into the victim's impact statement delivered by the father of slain Texas teen Austin Metcalf. These people, by the way, are gonna cause more violence. These are the people that are the reason why there are individuals who believe them, because I'm a big shot professor, it must be right, or she must be right. I mean, it could be he at this point, who knows what she identifies as. Super professor plus one of us. So this is an atrocious situation, so I'm gonna go do it again because I need to prove them. And every single one of them needs to end up in prison. But we do need to keep a close eye to this professor. I'm gonna be honest with you. Congratulations on passing the test. Thank you so much, Horu. Unbelievable. Arguing that the teen's death did not begin with a knife wielded by Carmelo Anthony, but instead that his father's parenting style, that the victim, needs to be blamed. Well, how about one of the things that I'm going to teach my son is to say, hey, if someone says something you don't like, don't stab them to death. How about that? How about that kind of parenting? Dr. Stacey Patton, a professor at Howard University School of Communications, really, penned an opinion piece titled, Dear Jeff Metcalf, your son is dead because you failed. Oh my gosh, this is disgusting. With a massive U as well. You failed. Yeah, victim blaming. Let's go, Patton. You failed teaching humility, but not a single word about all the disgusting people that are saying that the white victim kid, that now they're saying that he belongs in hell because he's white and he dared to say a mean word. Not a single word against those. Why? Because this professor clearly agrees with them. This is all a matter of division based on race. You know what? These people, I'm going to say it, are the new Nazis. This is who these people are. They just change the groups that they go against, but it's the same type of stuff. It's the same type of stuff. Thank you so much, Lapko. I'm late. Congrats on passing the citizenship test. You're exactly the kind of immigrant the founding fathers would approve of. Well done, brother. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Dovakin says, I think 35 years is far too short. I agree. For the crime committed. I can tell you that much. 35 years is not the length of time that the mother of the victim is not going to be able to be with her son. Life for a life. Carmelo should at the very least also have been given hard labor. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about hard labor and stuff. The thing is, though, that once again, I just hope there is no... I would have given him life without the possibility of parole is what I would have given. Bud Spencer, have you seen the 1997 TV movie, The Odyssey? Yes, of course. That's 50 million times better than anything but the monstrosity that Nolan is doing. I don't know if I would call it a perfect adaptation. Perfect, brother, it's a big word. But apart from that, definitely was better. Would love you did an analysis. I've been planning on doing a few comparisons between the current, what we know about the current Odyssey and the old school ones, because there is more than one. There's even 2004 Troy. I'd like to do that, but we'll see. Octane says, you're not really American until to hit up the Waffle House at 3 a.m. I'll do my best, my friend. Thank you very much. Appreciate. Unbelievable, guys. So, so this is my take on this situation. I think it is... The verdict is correct. Okay? The verdict is correct. This guy's a murderer, and he should have left. He should have left. He should have said something mean and left. That's what he should have done. And now he would have his entire life ahead of him. But probably the reality is that he was convinced that every white person hates him. It's not true. I don't hate you. Well, now I do, and Carmelo Anthony. But before you did this, if I saw you in the streets, I would have thought nothing. I'd been like, hey, there's a guy. Full stop. Of course, if you behave like a thug, then I'm going to cross my road. But I would do that regardless. It's the culture that makes me want to be like, I don't want to deal with this shit. It's the culture, because there are some cultures that are incompatible with ours. And so when I meet people who clearly show an absolute rooted, deep hatred towards anything that I love, Christianity, the West, my people, then yeah, I don't want to deal with these people. So culture. And then there is the whole, does this person look like a freaking criminal? If there are check boxes in this, and I'm like, yeah, okay, across the street. Whether it be a black thug or a white thug or an Asian thug, doesn't matter. It's the thug component. If I see whatever ethnicity, but they look really nice in Sunday clothing, holding the hands of their children as they're coming back home from church, you think I'm going to be like, I don't know, is that a thug? No. I don't hate you before. Now, I think you're scum. I think you're a cold-blooded murderer, and you belong in prison. And that's my take. And that was the first topic of today. I know, little heavy-handed, but what can I say? It's one of those situations, isn't it? Now I want to read a couple of chats, and then we move to the next one, because, guys, something is happening in New York, and I have to cover it, because it might have a little bit to do with ancient etymology, linguistics a little bit, because they're trying to change the words you can use again, and I've got a few things to say about it. It's possible, Roy Rat. We'll see what happens to him. We'll see. We'll follow the situation. Of course it's live. Why are you saying this isn't live? Of course it's live. I am live. I mean, it says it, by the way. You can see it. If you open my channel and there is a red circle around my channel symbol and it says live in red, it means it's live. Yes, it's live. Of course it's live. Thank you very much, the Spartan11, for subscribing with Prime on Twitch. I really appreciate that. I deserve to be an American citizen. Thank you so much. I appreciate Stadzi. Thank you very much. Let's not use racially charged words in chat, please. I don't appreciate it. Personally, I would, again, it is protected speech, but I wouldn't get you arrested regardless of what racist term you use. I just don't use any racial slur against white, against black, against Asian, against anything. I just don't like it. So I would appreciate if you also refrain from using any racial charged language. The thing I don't like is the double standards when it's if it's racial language against black people, it's like, oh, you should lose your entire career and life. But if it's racial language against white people, no, that's based on truth. I hate that. That's just who I am. Congratulations, man. Thank you very much. Dane5678. Actually, I get a kick out of saying, thank you for redacting the message, out of saying, reading your names. I'll be honest with you, I love it. I love it. I need to turn on the air. It's kind of cold. Be right back. I mean hot. It's hot, not cold. All right, cool. I'm going to take the jacket off. Guy means business, am I right? All right, so let me double check that I didn't skip any super chat, because I don't want to be disrespectful to people's hard-earned money. So thank you, Lapco. Let me see. Yeah, I read that one. But Spencer, have you seen the 1997? Yes, I did. Okay, read that one. Congratulations on the test. Thank you. Congratulations. Nolan. I read that one again because it's nice, and we'll go to Nolan. We'll go to Nolan, my friend. I believe I haven't acknowledged every super chat. If not, I apologize profusely, but we'll do another check later. I just want to make sure. All right, guys. So here is the new. Here's the new news. New. Nolan. Bill replacing mother and father with gender-neutral terms passes in New York, heads to her desk. I am so tired. Bro, I am so tired. Mother becomes gestating parent and father becomes non-gestating parent under the proposal legislation. You know, I'm just gonna say it. You will never find me dead using this kind of language. Just to make this 100%. You know what? Next time I visit New York, I'm just gonna say mother the entire time. I'm gonna do that everywhere I go. Mother, could I get that? Mother, this is really nice. Wow, these pancakes, mother, they're great. I mean, at the end of the day, we do say, ooh, I can say mamma mia. Oh my gosh, mamma mia is gonna be criminalized. How am I gonna Italian? I have so much to say, but let's get reading. Your non-gestating parent isn't coming home. Nolan. All right. New York Democrats recently passed a bill that would remove the word mother and father from parts of state law, sending the legislature to Governor Kathy Hochul's desk for final approval. So already, I'm going to say this. If this came from the legislative branch, I guess it still needs to go through the judicial in order to be approved, right? I hope. Under the new bill targeting state child custody and parental laws, mother becomes gestating parent. We got it. Yeah. It passes in the state Senate. It passed in the state Senate this week after progressing through the assembly in March. So how does it pass? How does anyone in a what's next one? Female is menstruating individual. Mother, I'm just going to say it. Mother is one of the most beautiful words in any language. And this comes from the side that says to be pro women. Common sense, they need to change that. Uncommon sense is the term. Well, okay, let's see. Democrats who drafted the legislation claimed the wording shift would promote inclusivity, but it's excluding women, isn't it? What about mothers' opinions? What about the opinion of actual mothers? This is literally like, if any of these senators is a guy, by the way, which I'm sure some will be, it's basically mansplaining to women why the word mother is a problem. Inclusivity. Oh, this kind of reminds me, not to bring Naulan into everything, but it kind of reminds me of what they were saying when it comes to the casting of the Odyssey, where they say, well, we want to be inclusive to the whole world, and they forgot, the Greeks. They didn't cast a single freaking Greek. Because their global inclusivity was so focused on literally anything. I'm surprised they didn't cast a reptilian, but they forgot to cast Greeks. Here, it's the same thing, guys. They want to be so inclusive to, well, it's a man, but can be pregnant, and they wanted to be inclusive to all of that they forgot to include mothers. I would make it illegal to pass a law like this unless you have the democratic approval of the majority of mothers in the country. This is gender discrimination. You're absolutely right. While critics claim the changes are necessary, as a critic myself, it's not unnecessary. It's not just unnecessary. It's diabolical. With the legislative session having ended for the year of Thursday, folks, okay. This Hochul said during a news conference that she isn't familiar with the proposal, but promises to review it. Oh, you should review it, all right? I have until... You know what I would say? I would have said, I'm not familiar with the proposal, but just at first glance, I'd say it's bullshit, but I'll review it. That's what I would have said. Open quotes, I have until the end of the year to review them and make a decision, so I won't be commenting on pending legislation. You don't need a freaking year to figure out why there's nothing wrong with the word mother. And if this is based on the fact that there might be some people that take offense to the words mother and father, well, I take offense with probably every word they utter anyway. I take offense with words such as gestating parent. So why doesn't, and I'm going to ask, anyone in chat takes offense with the word gestating parent? Because here's the thing. In theory, democracy, whether it be representative or pure form of absolute monarchy, or whether it be what we have in the United States, republic, which is it, whatever. It should be the majority that matters. The majority. The majority of people do not take offense with mother and father. However, I can strongly state that the majority of people take offense with gestating parent, non-gestating parent, and all this nonsense. So, shouldn't a democratic system look at the little offended minority and tell them, sorry, bro? That's how it works. Or doesn't. Republican good American candidate Bruce Blakeman shared multiple posts responding to the bill on social media Friday. Let's see. Open quotes: in Kathy Hochul's New York, mum is now defined as gestating parent, Blakeman wrote. Not when I'm governor. I'll stand up for mums and dads against this insanity. You know, of course I agree. Clearly, this is an attempt at using this in order to favor votes. Bro, it's not gonna work. Not in New York, I'm sorry. It's not gonna work. This bill is a continuation of Hochul's war on families. Actually, I agree with that. It is part of the destruction of the nuclear family. And at the end of the day, it's just chaos. So let me tell you why. This is particularly disgusting to me specifically, to me. You see, as someone who enjoys history, ancient history, I know that I mostly talk about ancient Rome, ancient Greece, and the Middle Ages, but if you give me an assignment to read 1,500 pages on the Mesolithic, I would love you. I love all of it. The roots of our ancestry, I freaking love it. Now, the thing with a word such as mother and father, but I want to focus on mother for a moment. It's remarkably ancient. We're talking at least we can track it back 15,000 years into ancient Proto-Indo-European. And I'm going to be honest, the roots, which probably sounded something like meter or something like that, we find them as they evolve into all of the different, Proto-Indo-European, we said, but also Proto-Germanic, moder, which then goes into, it's kind of the beginning of what we have in Anglo-Saxon. But again, you find it in Sanskrit, you find it in Latin, mater. I want to be honest, I think it's one of the most ancient words in existence, because I can guarantee that the reason why there is so much similarity across the board, even in unrelated language families, when it comes to this word specifically, is because at the end of the day, it probably comes from the original sounds, natural sounds the babies make. The kind of mama, that kind of sound that they make is probably the origin of this. So you can this word has managed to remain intact for at least 15,000 years, only to be destroyed in New York because of a bill about inclusivity. I'm bewildered. I'm bewildered. It's an attack on women. And of course, father is an attack on, because here's the thing. We talked about mother, right? And how much, the origin of our species. We all came from a mother. You're destroying the origin. You're murking the water. But father is also tremendous. Also immensely ancient. It's immensely ancient as well. But if they remove the word father, the head of the house, of the traditional family, okay? Of course, you're going to destroy they've been vilifying what it means to be a man anyways. Masculinity, protective masculinity. I've seen, but just the other day, I was looking for interviews with, what's her name, Lupita Nyong'o, and there were these interviews where not her, but the other person, I think another one of the actresses that played a role in the Wakanda nonsense, she was saying, oh, we hate this idea of the damsel in distress. Women don't need the help of men, they say, up until a massive guy with 17 times their upper body strength starts to mess with them in the middle of the street. Then they do want the help from men. than they do, as it's normal, biologically speaking. There is a difference. It's called sexual dimorphism. If you have a problem with that, either take it with nature or take it with God, whichever you want. It doesn't matter at this point. You're atheist or Christian, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. If you have a problem with sexual dimorphism, you have a problem with the way evolution shaped us or with the way the maker made us, because it's reality. And the fact that these people fight reality and they want to live in this alternate reality, and fine, believe whatever you want, but you're not going to control my speech, and you're not going to control the way I think, because the way I think, and I think I can speak for a lot of you in chat, is grounded on biological reality. But here's my question that I'm going to kind of close this parenthesis of nonsense, but here's my next question. If Father is outlawed, how long until Heavenly Father is outlawed? How long until Father in heaven becomes problematic? You see where I'm going with this? And if you think that it's a stretch, if you think, no, Metatron, I think you're stretching, this has nothing to do with religion, okay. Well, then how do you explain the bill that was recently passed in Canada, which is starting to outlaw several passages in the Bible? We'll talk about it, but it's happening, and that's going to be the next tab we're going to check. But let me finish this one first. New York bill. Now, let's see. New York, this is from United News. I don't know how to read it. New York bishops say gender-neutral language law mocks the foundation of the family. Bro, I can't even begin to fathom what it means to be a bishop in New York. I mean, it must be tough, because you have to deal with all of these kind of laws, which, of course, you have to deal with half of the what are they called? Like all of the pastors that in fact say Jesus was wrong and all the nonsense that the pastors do these days. And then you also have to deal with the Pope, because the Pope recently has been saying some nonsense. I can't even imagine it. Anyways, we understand this. The New York State Legislature passed a bill that replaces the words mother and father. Not in a million years. You won't find me there. Just like I refuse to say BCE, CE, never. Even if you write BCE, I will read BC. I refuse to that. To me, the BCE identifies as BC, and I don't want to dead name it. How about that? In some state laws with gender-neutral language, and the bishops say muddy what is true and good. I absolutely agree with New York's bishops. They are absolutely based. It's nice for once to see a bishop saying something based after the Pope has said some nonsense. The bill passes by the state assembly in March and by state senate on June 2nd. Now heads to governor. I really hope the governor has some sense, adds some sense into this. Even the words paternity and filiation will be replaced with parentage. How can they suck so much that their alternative is always 10 times worse? No, you can't say homeless. You have to say, what was it? Unhoused. I mean, bro, I'm not a native speaker of English, okay? So maybe it just sounds particularly ugly and stupid to me, but maybe you're a native speaker and you're like, no, unhoused sounds really nice. Maybe. But to me, unhoused sounds insane. But what's funny is that, how about, whatever. Let's say that to me, unhoused sounds stupid, that I would say homeless. But to you, it's like, no, it's unhoused, it's nice. Okay, how about we stop wasting time into doing all of this little, no, you can't say this, you can't say that, and maybe help the people who are homeless. How about that? Instead of wasting time into, it's not apt. It's not apt. So there's that. Then we got, again, as I say, I don't even know where we're going with this, but I think this is so stupid. Parentage. It's never about. Here's another one. You can't say foreigner anymore. I'm not making this up. I have it all documented. This is from a university guide, of course, in Canada. I have nothing against Canadians, but brother, the government is, I know you know. University of Waterloo in Canada. I've given you where to find it if you don't believe me. But they said you shouldn't say foreigner. You should say international person. You know, as a foreigner who lives in this country, call me foreigner. Call me an alien. I love it. I love it. I'm a legal alien. Yes, I'm an alien. I love it. I admitted it from Orion Belt. You have it on tape. Next. They said you can't say minority. You have to say, and I'm not joking, look it up. Minority is not appropriate anymore. You have to say equity deserving groups. How is it possible that they have to multiply the number of words by 3 times fold? This is less effective. Not to mention, you know why they're doing that? Because this time, if I were to follow this, which I imagine if I'm a student at said university and I need to write my dissertation thesis, I better follow those rules because they're going to reject it otherwise. So what's going to happen is that it's every single time. So we need to talk about equity deserving groups' rights because, you know, someone who belongs to an equity deserving group, we need to understand the people in equity deserving groups. If I have to say that every time I say minority, what I'm saying is that I am constantly pushing your message, whether I agree with it or not. I constantly have to say that this group deserve equity, which I absolutely don't believe. I think equality is good. Equity is nonsense. In fact, it's a racist position. Because equity means do not treat everyone the same. It's what they're doing in the UK. Do not treat everyone the same. You're white, you get less rights. You're black, you get more rights. And it's all based on who we consider to be the oppressed, which could change, by the way. You wait a few years, they might flip things all over. And now, for instance, I don't know, Muslims are considered to need more rights than black people. It's going to happen. And at one point, probably the Muslims too will gonna go under something else that they found now to be the oppressor. So equity is bullshit. But even if you disagree with me and you say, no, I think equity is based, bro, it's your freedom. I respect that. As long as you're not an indecent person who laughs at Charlie Kirk's death, I will be more than happy to go out, have a coffee with you. We disagree, fine, let's go play some video games together. I don't care. As long as you're a decent person. But the problem is that you are free to say that. But I also want to be free to not have to repeat something I don't believe in just because you're changing the words that are considered acceptable. I don't want to have to say it. And I don't want you to say something I believe in, but you don't. You don't have to say it. You don't have to say it. And so we're told the truth is that mothers are mothers and fathers are fathers. The bishop wrote, you know, I would love to live in a world where you don't need a bishop to say this. You don't need a bishop to say this. And the thing is, and I'm gonna just probably stop it with this when it comes to the topic at hand. But the reality is that even if someone were to say, bro, you don't agree with this, but maybe there is someone who is non-binary and they're gonna be a little bit happier if you say gestating parent and menstruating individual, and they're gonna be happier. So why don't you think about them and their happiness? Right? Problem is that they don't care. The people that say this, they will immediately insult you and say, like, for instance, they use, when I say they, there are a few YouTubers I have in mind. I'm not going to name them, but they exist. I've seen them. I've seen their videos. They will tell you this, but then they don't care if what they say offends Christians. They literally use the name of our God in vain, attached with the word fucking right next to it, which I find distasteful. When I see that happen, and they use it as if it's his middle name, I stop watching the video. Not in a million years would I come to you in the comments and tell you can't do that. No, you can, but I can also choose not to watch you anymore if you do that. Not they will be, no, don't say mother, it could offend, but then they offend our God. And they don't care. So don't even give me. And I've seen it. The people did say, like, they were so polite in the comments, and I don't even do it, but there were people that say, you know, I would really appreciate if you didn't use profanity because I love your content. You know what this YouTuber said? Don't preach your religion to me, but you preach yours to us. And it's the same thing with the pronouns, with the name. So you can believe whatever you want. But if you want me to use whatever pronoun you want, and by the way, don't even fucking try with bunny self, demon self, vampire self, and all this nonsense, never gonna happen. I hate they, them. I think it's nonsense. But if you want to use it, use it. And I will not mock you. If you use it, great, use it. But the fact of the she, he, and you want she instead of he, I think it's lawful for people to not want to deal with that, and they shouldn't have to. The way I do it is, if you scream in my face and tell me it's ma'am, I will use the opposite pronoun to make a stand of freedom and tell you fuck off. But if you're a friend of mine and I know you and you ask me politely, I'll do it out of politeness. And I know that some of you will disagree with that. You'll say, no, I will never do it. And I respect that. I'm just saying that's how I am. Because in general, I am a kind individual. But with people like Dylan Mulvaney that tell me I should go to jail, never, ever, never. But the thing is, trying to force someone to say something they don't believe in is the same as me, as a Christian, trying to force an atheist to say that Jesus is king and that he was resurrected. I know you don't believe in Jesus' resurrection, so I don't expect you to say it. So why are people expecting me to say things I don't believe in when it comes to all this situation with the genders and whatnot? And as I say, this comes from someone. I am willing, when someone is nice, I'm not going to call, no, your name is Tom. Who cares? People call me Metatron. I mean, it's not my birth name, by the way. So if you want me to call you Claire, I'll call you Claire. I don't even care. But again, it depends how you are. You have to ask, not tell me to do it. Because if you tell me to do it, I'll tell you to go fuck off. That's how it is. So that's me. That's me. To each his own. To each his own. But this legislation thing, again, as you see, they want to put it into law. So this never was about freedom, was it? Because if it was about freedom, if you don't want to use mother, call it dragon for all I care. Call it a dragon. My dragon. Call it whatever you want. But if you're trying to pass a law, then you try to force me. And that's a problem. That's where I have a problem with it. Anyways. This is my take on this nonsense. Let me close this tab. I will never open it ever again. Just stating parent. Unbelievable. What do you guys think? Thank you, Doc Driver 70. Man, what a name you've got. I freaking love your names. Thank you for the support. Changing meaning of words is postmodern Marxism, removing objective truth. Yep, because if truth is subjective, then they can justify any kind of horrors. It's the same thing. Whenever I say someone beginning a sentence with my truth, disregard. Disregard. There is only one truth. My truth, your truth, their truth, doesn't matter. It's either something is true or it's not. Now, given there could be many ways to try and interpret it, because not always do we have all the facts, particularly when it comes to history. But you know what? We have all the facts about who's the mother. So I don't care about that. Dovankin says, these are the people that invented the word Latins that we Latino Americans actually treat as a slur. Yeah, I get it. They also made the word cis and slur. Yeah, sure. I mean, again, as I say, I never have a problem with the way you want to speak, just as long as you don't try to force that speech on me. Just thank you for the super chat. Congrats, love. No, it is all bullshit. Steven Spielberg just let us down. What, the Alien one? I want to watch the Alien movie, though. I want to watch that. Happy to have you in your country. We need more citizens like you. Congratulations. Thank you, Miss Memento. And sorry for taking a little bit to read your super chat. I do appreciate your support. Your non-gestating parents coming home. Yeah, I know. With all this, that was hilarious. Anyways, thank you for the support, guys. Let's move to the next topic, because I didn't mention Canada, didn't I? You thought this was bullshit? You wait until I show you what I just found. And I'm going to be real when it comes to the coverage, because I have seen people misrepresenting it. And I'm saying people that I usually agree with when it comes to the politics, but the one thing that I'm more interested in is the truth. I want to know. But by the way, this looks so bad, you don't even need to misrepresent it. But anyways, let's talk about Bill C9. Bill C9, guys. Bill C9. So if you look for Bill C9, we read, quote, in the Bible to be criminalized in Canada, Bill C9 has passed. Here is what you need to know. Fact file, federal hate crimes legislation, blah, blah, blah. Canada hate crimes, blah, blah, blah. Did Canada criminalize, quote, in the Bible? So I've opened a few tabs because, of course, we need to make sure that we are specific and precise in understanding what's going on in Canada, particularly if you're a Canadian citizen watching this. My heart goes to you. But here is kind of a very quick law recap recap of this situation. A bill was passed and it has to do with hate speech. So already, if it has to do with hate speech, it doesn't matter. It's bullshit, because hate speech should not exist. In fact, hate speech doesn't exist legally, but they are making it happen. In the UK, we've got hate speech. We know that. You can't say shit, get arrested. The numbers are literally almost totalitarian level at this point. And don't worry, I've got my I will dedicate a little portion to hate on Keir Starmer, traitor to the West. But before we do that, because I always have I need to bring in Nolan, I need to bring in Keir Starmer. It's how it is. But yeah, this has to do with hate speech. So already there shouldn't be any hate speech laws whatsoever. Okay? But this is in combination with religion. And the idea behind this is that some people who are full of hate, allegedly, are using the Bible as a way to attack minorities. But then they want to justice, they want to say stuff that is not nice, and they want to say, but it's in my Bible, so I can say it's freedom of religion. Right. Now, this is kind of the law recap. So some people said Canada criminalized the Bible, but there is a context to it. The context is bullshit, we'll see, but there is a context. So it's not like they passed a law where you can't open the Bible and read a passage, but there are clearly some passages in the Bible that now the Canadian government has considered to be hate speech. Unbelievable. We're going to read this, but I do have to ask a question. Is this just the Bible, or is it going to involve the Quran? I'm the guy who asks the question that everybody's thinking, right? Because, I mean, if this is about religious words that are mean, there are a bunch of those in the Quran as well, right? Like, this is a fact. So, is this just with the Bible, or is it every text? We do need to ask this question. But let's read. Canada's House of Commons passes anti-Christian bill that would criminalize quoting Bible. Now, again, we need to verify this. That is, is it only focused on Christian scripture? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, the Bible, the Jews use the Bible as well, so I'm curious. They don't use the New Testament, but they do use the Old Testament, and then I would like to see what they have to say. We'll see. We'll confirm to see whether it's true or not. Let's go. Okay, so Canadian MPs passes Radical Bill C9 in a 186-137 vote, and Conservatives are now calling on Christians to pray and flood senators with phone calls and emails opposing the bill. It's not going to do anything because Christians are most likely considered to be an oppressed group anyways. You know what I've noticed, by the way? That sometimes this oppressed-oppressor dichotomy has glitches. You know when it glitches? Well, when you have a Christian male who is straight and white, then of course you've got like quadruple oppressor, so whatever he says, don't care. But what happens when you have a Christian lesbian black woman? What happens? Or what do you do? And you know what I found out? What I found out is that the Christian oppressor trumps all of the other oppressed minority group conditions. So if you're black, from this point of view, your words matter. But if you're Christian, and then if you have like traditional views, then it doesn't matter. And I mean, we know that because, I mean, Biden did say, I mean, again, I've complained about shit that Trump said, but bro, Biden said, I paraphrase, I don't remember the exact wording, but Biden did say, if you don't vote blue, you ain't black. What? They mean it. People like this mean it. So anyways, early Wednesday evening, MPs from the Liberal Party and the Bloc Québécois in a 100 whatever passed Bill C9, known as the Combating Hate Act. So interesting that this is they could have said Hate Towards Christians Act. I think it would have been more appropriate, but we'll see. Maybe hatred against religion, we still have to see. All right, so the bill now heads to Canada's rubber stamp Senate for review. Yeah, they'll accept it. A last-minute effort by Conservatives, blah, blah, blah. Earlier this week, Liberal MPs forced the bill through the report stage after earlier, as reported by LifeSite News, shutting down all debate on the bill in the committee stage. In comments sent to LifeSite News, campaign, okay, what does it do? Open quotes, with the passage of Bill C9 in the House, Christians and pro-life advocates will almost certainly face an entirely new level of hostility as the door swings open to actual persecution under a cloak of supposed legality, said CLC's campaigns manager David Cookie, who is also a Christian pastor. I'm going to say Cookie because I like it more. Cookie said the Bill C9 was framed as a law going after hate, but in reality, it is a bill that religious leaders from various faith communities say could, open quotes, say could lead to hate-related charges against believers, empowers ideologically driven police officers and judges to target for the first time the very word of God on matters of life, family, and faith. And this is unbelievable. If someone says, hey, I think all gays need to be put against a wall because I think the Bible tells me so, it's not the problem. Yeah, that is illegal because they are pushing for violence. So the government should get involved. Absolutely. But if someone is quoting the Bible because they believe something, as long as there is no direct push for violence, it's free speech. It's free speech also because a lot of these people say obscene things against white people, against Christians. It happens all the time. Why aren't they being... Why isn't there a hate speech bill about that? Oh, hate speech. It's speech you hate. That's what it is. We must prepare for the battle ahead. Yeah, oh my gosh, I would not want to live in Canada right now, let me tell you that much. CLC Director of Political Operations, Jacques Van Elke, noted Bill C9 must be stopped in its track. Good luck with that. And most senators were appointed by former OK. The battle to defend religious freedom in Canada has now moved to the Senate, which unfortunately Justin Trudeau has spent the past decade stacking with anti-Christian bigots, I'm confused, like Christopher Wells, a radical LGBT activist who suspect would relish the opportunity to criminalize parts of the Bible as hate speech. This is unbelievable. Okay, so we gave the perspective of the conservatives. Let's have a look at the different perspective. Like someone who tells us, no, they're exaggerating. Okay, well, let me see. Let me see what we can get. What is this explaining? Let's see. Canadian Constitution Foundation. Bill C9 has passed. Here's what you need to know. Okay, Bill 9 is Combating Hate Act. That already. The bill is the Liberal government's response to a rise in hatred. Unbelievable. Thank you very much, Soliot5913. I really appreciate that. Now, this is the excuse. Also because, I don't like the idea of hating groups. But it's not illegal. Because if it were illegal, you know how many, apart from anti-Semitic, people hate the Jews, people hate black people hate Asians. A lot of the people who hate Asians, by the way, are black, so there is that. But whatever, there was already a university professor who said even anti-Asian racial hatred from black people, the reason is white supremacy. So there is that. I didn't make that up. I have a dedicated video. But anyways, but there is also a lot of hatred towards white people. So, the rise of hatred towards white people is never mentioned by those who pass these kind of laws. Because here is the thing, if they did, half, if not 70% of the voting base would be arrested for hate speech. Guys, it's true. Guys, it's true. Have you seen what's been happening recently with the whole, we talked about it, Carmelo Anthony situation, the kind of stuff people said against white people that we deserved it, the kid deserves to rot in hell, it's good, we're right. But then if hate speech were a thing, you would all go to prison. If they were equally executed. The bill has raised concern about its impact on civil liberties and religious speech. Yeah. Hundreds of thousands of Canadians have written to parliamentaries to oppose the bill. I hope it works. The status we know, how is it going to affect religious expression? Bill C9 has removed the good faith religious expression defense from convictions for criminal hate speech. This is the death of freedom. How don't they see it? I had this conversation with a family member once, and she's very left wing. She's very left wing. She's my flesh and blood, a freaking lover. She's a full on communist. Nobody's perfect, Anyways, we were talking about it, and she was saying, oh, she's like, she kind of agreed with the idea of hate speech, but the only reason she agreed, and we talked about it, and I said, let's talk about this logically. We had this conversation in the freaking car. I said, let's talk about this logically. Do I agree with you that there are people on my side, not just on politics, but Christians? There are Christians, but man, when they speak, they spew poisonous vomit. Yeah, they exist. And do they try to use the Bible to defend that? Yeah, they do. They exist, true. And she said, oh yeah, you know what I would do? I would take that Bible and burn it in front of them because they should go to jail because they're motherfucking disgusting individuals. Like, fine, but the problem is that what you just did now is also hate speech. It's hate speech against Christians, and it's hate speech against white people. Why? Because hate speech is such a vague state of verbal communication that anything can be hate speech. So in this utopic world that you think would be great, where all these white Christian men go to prison because they dared to say mean things, you would go to prison too. And even if the current administration, very left-wing, so they agree with you, okay? They only put in prison the people that say the things you don't like, but the stuff that you say, which is equally hateful, no, that's fine. You get a pass because oppressor oppress. Okay, right, but eventually the right will get in power. And when that happens, because there is a president now, they're going to flip it. Now you're going to go to prison, and what if they make it retroactive? When I said that, she realized it. She was like, shit. Yeah, what I did say now is hate speech. She understood it, because she's intelligent. She's intelligent. But she was emotionally driven. And I know, I know why she didn't think this through. It's because, unfortunately, that there are people on the left or center that are truly empathetic towards like black people, minorities. They are, the gay people, they mean it. And so, unfortunately, the kind of senators that write these bills, they use your own empathy against you to manipulate you into agreeing with something that is illogical and unfair and unjust. Now, there are also people like Assam Piker and Destiny, equally left, but scumbags disgusting with zero empathy. In fact, sociopathic level. I fucking hate those people. They are my very enemies. But I know that there are some people like my cousin, very left of center, extreme one would say, but she's a good person and they're using it. But once you sit down and you talk about this, you're like, that's as hateful. What if they flip it and then you're going to go to prison? I don't want you to go to prison. How about no hate speech laws? And she agreed with me. Bro, I got a communist to agree with me. Sickle and hammer and whatnot. You just got to sit down and think. Does this make sense? No. Is this just? No. Okay. So how about we keep things as they are? No hate laws, hate speech laws, and just if you incite for violence, you go to prison. Doesn't matter who this violence is towards, whether it be straight or gay or Christians or white men or this or that or black. No, how about no? You can't say, guys, let's go burn this guy at the stake. You can't say it. Can't say it. And the rest, just let them speak. My gosh, what kind of religious speech? Yeah, let's see, that's important. This is difficult to know in advance. That's the problem. That's precisely the problem. The religious speech in question would need to be used to incite hatred in a public space against an identifiable group, to willfully promote hatred against an identifiable group, or to willfully promote anti-Semitism. Isn't it interesting that anti-Semitism is the one example they give us? Or what about all the other ethnic groups? Why is this one wrong, which it is, but why is this one the one? If you promote anti-Semitism, okay, what about anti-white? What about anti-black at this point? No, this is the one that goes into the legislative motion. This would include inciting hatred against a group on the basis of color, race, religion. Okay, so what they do with white Christians. But look at I'm just using their own freaking words. I use their words. Unbelievable. What about a church? That's a group? Holy moly. National or ethnic origin, age, sex, sexual orientation. Okay, what about straight? Gender identity or expression, mental or physical disability. The Supreme Court of Canada has defined hatred as the most extreme forms of the emotions described by vilification and detestation, which is exactly what they do against white in every university. So you are basically outlawing what you're doing. But then they give you the but those are not in a marginalized group. Okay. Which, at this point, even when you tell me it's only for minorities, okay, white people are the minority globally. Globally, white people are the minority. It goes from 7% globally of the entire population to 14%, depending on who you consider to be white. But even in the most open-minded sense, you're considering like someone like me, Southern Italian, I think I am white, but there are some people who are like, no, you're not white, bro, you're Italian, which is like the two things are not mutually exclusive because Italian is a nationality. Fuck it. Think whatever you want. Even people that like, if you're Mexican, you're not white. If you're Southern, you're not white. If you're Eastern European, you're not white. If you are Irish somehow, even though they are as white as this remote control, for some reason they are not white, fine. Only Anglo-Saxon, Western, Germanic, Protestant are white, right? You think that way, that would be like 7% of the whole population. But even the most open-minded, oh, you're not white, all Europeans are white, all white, okay, you go up to 14%, maybe even 17%, we are still a freaking minority. White people are a minority. So, if anything, all the hatred towards white people is against a global minority. That's how it is. Let's see, guys. Let's have a look. The court has also said that hatred can be identified by looking for hallmarks of hatred, including speech that, let's see, vilifies the targeted group by blaming its members for the current problems in society. Oh my gosh. Yeah, make it more vague, will you? Alleges that members of a group are a powerful menace. Man, that's insane. Accuses a group of carrying out secret conspiracies. So you can't even have conspiracy theories. It's illegal. To gain global control. This is specifically for global Jews, isn't it? They are plotting to destroy Western civilization. Okay, well then it's not just Jews. Plotting to destroy Western civilization would be every single one of you are trying to pass this. Yeah, that's what I believe. But you can't even say, man, this is insane. This is even worse. It's not just the Bible. This is literally, we are outlawing what everyone who doesn't belong to our political party says. So just members are illegal or unlawful. What if it's true though? What if someone is an illegal migrant? I can't suggest it. I laugh because I want to scream, such as by labeling them liars, cheats, criminals, and thugs. Oh my gosh, this is actually 50 times worse than what I thought it was. Bro, you know how many times I've been called a liar by the Afrocentrists, by the way? So do I get hate speech laws? Criminals? What if they are criminals? Thugs. You're gonna criminalize calling someone a thug? I am. This is dystopic. Calls people pure evil. Okay, well, there was this lady, it was a Muslim lady, incidentally, who beheaded, she was a nanny, and she beheaded the very young individual that she was looking after. I went quite nuts on Twitter when that happened. And then she went around screaming Allahu Akbar with the head of said individual. Can I call that pure evil, or is Canada gonna say, take a deep breath, yeah? Equates the targeted group with groups traditionally reveled in society, such as CA, PDF files, or deviant criminals who prey on children. Oh, they're doing this because okay, look, I wouldn't criminalize it. This is still bullshit. But yeah, there are people that say all gays are PDF files, and that's not true. That's not true. Fine. But even if you say that, I'll just say, bro, I disagree. Okay? A good friend of mine, I know for a fact he would never touch a child. I know that. But he's gay. Okay? So it's not true. But I wouldn't make it illegal, though. That's the whole thing. Describes members of a group as animals of subhuman. So you need to arrest entirety of ancient Rome, by the way. I don't know if you know, but the people that say, oh, Rome was so inclusive, you know what the Romans referred, it's in the sources, to you if you weren't a citizen, half animal. And what's interesting about ancient Roman inclusivity, by the way, is that when you did get citizenship, okay, now you're fully human from a Roman perspective. You were a disgusting barbarian, which would apply whether you be Celtic, whether you be Nordic, whether you be African, whether you be whatever, because, the Romans weren't racist. They hated everyone equally. But the thing is that you did become a Roman citizen. They'd be like, okay, you're not an animal anymore. Wow. What if they rebel, though? The sources tell us what happens. If someone rebels, they are stripped of their citizenship, and you know what they are now? Animals. Again. So, not so inclusive. They are inclusive if you pay taxes and obey the law. If you subdue to imperial authority and you bend the knee, then it's fine. You can have citizenship. We don't care what you look like. We care about what your coin looks like. We care about the wheat we are getting and the cows. What you look like, who cares? The Romans were very open-minded when it comes to that. But if you dare to rebel, you know what the Romans, inclusive Roma, they say inclusive because literally there are articles after article after article that say Rome is so inclusive and diverse. It was all about diversity. It was, yeah. You know what the Romans did to entire village? We have accounts of mass mutilation. Oh, you took arms against us? We'll cut every single right hand from every single able-bodied male of your entire village. That's what the inclusive Romans did. They were brutal. That's the reality. Inclusivity in Rome was economic. Because it was profitable. And in fact, they debated it in the Senate. They debated. There were senators that were like, fuck those foreigners, we don't want to deal with them. And there were senators who were like, no, let them in, they're rich. I'm paraphrasing, but it's in Latin in the sources. Emperor Claudius, this is because people don't study the history. Emperor Claudius, that's how he was very pro, let's give citizenship to the Celts, let's give citizenship to the Gauls, let's give citizenship, let's go. But he always justified it with money. Always justified it with money. So, let me finish this and then we're done. Calls into questions, done with this topic, I've got a lot more. Calls into question whether group members qualify as human beings. Yeah, it's awful to do, still shouldn't be legal. Refers to them as, man, this is specific, horrible creatures who ought not to be allowed to live. Who the heck speaks like this? Incognizant prime, oh my God. Genetically inferior, okay, fine. Now, do they know that every time I've clashed with the Afrocentrists on matters of history, not once in all the videos I made have I ever said anything racist. But you know what my comment sections looked like every time that a Afrocentrist creator made a response video to me? They called me genetically inferior to them. The Afrocentrists think that I'm a Neanderthal hybrid who is genetically inferior to them. So here's the thing, though. I actually like that they call me hybrid because I do have the hair of the Neanderthal. I do. So they have a point, and I take pride in it. So yeah, I'm a base Neanderthal. I'll take it. That's fine. I'm sure I have some Neanderthal DNA in there somehow, and who cares? But I ask the C9 bill, do I get some form of reparations because I have proof? I've got all the comments. So do I get something from Canada? Do they send me a check? If they sent me $20 for every time I've been called this and this and this from the Afrocentric community, man, they pay my freaking mortgage. All right, guys, I think I've read enough about this. They are going to keep it as vague as possible so that they're going to make it literally impossible for you to quote the Bible. That's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. And given, I know that there are some very tough to read passages in the Bible, but guess what? They're in the Old Testament, and we are not Bronze Age Jews. So whatever it said in the Old Testament time, it doesn't matter, because as a Christian, I live under the new law and the new covenant. So, so there is that. But this is bullshit, and that's the reality. And that's the reality, my friends. All right, so let's do something a little lighter now. Let me read the comments, and then we're moving into a really funny topic because I actually enjoy those. Let me read the super chats, though. Lady Jennifer, it's so good to see you, by the way. I see you in the comments. Just got home from work and saw this. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I passed my citizenship test. But did you consider if we criminalize criticism of the government or its actions, we'll have one of the most popular governments? I mean, sure. Yeah, kind of reminds me of 20th century totalitarian regimes, doesn't it? Dog Driver, thank you for the 556 donation. All goes to the diaper fund. Everything I do is for my son and my wife now. Before, everything I did was for me and for my wife. But I have to say that becoming a parent, your focus shifts. So now, yeah, of course, I'm happy. Like, you know what I bought myself? I passed the. I love retro tech. I have an entire dedicated channel to it. My third channel, Metatron's Protectorate, and I enjoy history. Meaning, I also like vintage. I like vintage stuff. I think the '80s were peak, and I love computers and tech from the old age, and I love repairing it, bringing it back. And so I have a whole line of computers from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I use them, I play with them, I enjoy them, I code with them, I use floppy disks and whatnot. Anyways, as a personal present, I bought an original Macintosh. The original one, the rectangular one that is tall, black and white screen. I am so excited for it. I can't wait to get it. So that was myself. So I will still do things for myself, but my priority now is making sure that my son can have everything that I've never had because my family wasn't wealthy. So I want my son to be grateful. I'll teach him to be grateful. I'll show him the reality of what people have to go through. We're very privileged, beautiful home. We own land. He'll be able. I worked hard so that my son has, beautiful land to play in. The trees. I own land in the United States. And but the reality is, yeah, I want him to have everything he wants as long as I teach him. I'll try not to spoil him, guys, but it's difficult. He's got big cheeks. Okay, so I'll try. I'll try my best. And then I want to make sure that my wife will never have to work ever again because trad wife. So I'm the provider. If we need to do two jobs, I'll do the second job so she can stay home with the child. And in a way, because she loves it, I don't say that every woman needs to live like this. There are women that enjoy a career, and you have my blessing because freedom. But someone like my wife, she married me. She likes this. Great. She'll never work a day in her life. I'll make sure of that. And at the same time, yes, she's minding the child. She's taking care of the home because I can't do. Man, if it were up to me with all the editing I have to do, this house, it would be a swamp. So I'm grateful for my wife for doing what I can't. We're a team. But at the same time, every minute that she has free, she now has wings to fly because she doesn't have to worry about, oh gosh, I need to go and do a job. No, you don't. Do whatever you like. Enjoy your passion. Play. She loves video games. Play video games. You want to paint? Paint. She can do whatever she wants. From the split second she married me, she's free. She can do whatever she wants. I don't care if she spends the rest of her life after she takes care of the baby, which I do, by the way, because I'm a night owl. So at night she sleeps, I'm up, I take care of the baby at night. But the rest of the time she's taking care of the baby, sleeping. She's got 3 hours, do whatever you want. Play. I don't even care. Read. She loves reading. Read novels. Write a novel. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. And that's that. All right, let's read the other. Changing meaning of words is supposed. Yeah, I read that one, so I think I'm up to date. Yes, I'm up to date with the super chat. Your wife is so lucky. Thank you, appreciate that. I'm lucky too. I mean, she's a wonderful. She's a wonderful wife. I will never use the word partner. She's a wonderful wife, and she's a gorgeous woman. And of course, that played a part because I'm not a hypocrite. For me, the most important part when it comes to finding either it be a girlfriend or a wife is of course, she needs to be beautiful to me. Not necessarily conventionally beautiful, a lot of that overlaps, but she needs to be beautiful to me. I need to find her beautiful inside as well. But both things are important, because if you are beautiful inside, but you look, you I mean, sorry, it is what it is. It's hardwired to find certain body types, certain things more attractive. It is what it is. So for me, I looked for someone to be beautiful to me, to be beautiful inside. And for me, she had to be a Christian. I will not marry a non-Christian. In fact, that one is the most important for me. I mean, you can say, "Oh, but that's not nice." Fine, I don't know what to tell you. What am I gonna do? Am I gonna have to change what I look into a woman because it offends someone else? I won't. Fine. I'm not saying I'm not gonna be friends with you. We can be brothers, and you can be atheist. I'm not gonna marry you. That's what it is, because I want us to raise our son, our child, in the faith. But that's it. She's to be beautiful to me. She's to be beautiful inside. And because, again, sometimes you can have a woman, she's gorgeous, but man, she's crazy. I don't want to deal with batshit shit crazy, because it's going to drive you insane. Okay? So these are the things, and that's it. And I'm glad that I found a person that, to me, fits all of this. I love her green eyes. It is what it is. I love, because I've got dark eyes, so maybe that's why I'm attracted to blue and green eyes. I think they're the most beautiful. And that's that. Yeah. Congratulations on being an American. Thank you so much. I'm not an American citizen just yet, but I did pass the test. Just need to do yeah. Any hair treatment video, says Kami Yamika. Mine is like yours, black and wavy. Wasn't aware on the Undertale thing. I know. It's funny. I mean, I'm probably not the guy to ask, because honestly, it's not like I do a lot. I shampoo relatively often. I put both shampoo and conditioner. I brush my hair every day. What else? Vitamin pills, clean living. I don't smoke, never smoked in my life. My alcohol consumption is very limited, and I eat well. I eat a lot of fabrics. I'm Mediterranean, and what else? I think that's it, guys. That's my hair routine. And then I have a skincare routine. I do have a skincare routine, and after a shower, that's me. And wearing chainmail, yeah. I'll check your super chat, Salentino. Don't worry, I won't skip it. You say the only thing inclusive about the Romans was the gladius was rated E for everyone. Ooh, that's good. You know what's fun about the gladius? It wasn't even a Roman sword. It was the sword of their enemies. Let me tell you a little fun fact. I mean, if you follow the channel, but if for a while you already know this, but if you're new to the channel and you haven't checked out the historical section, then let me tell you this much. I know the gladius is the typical sword of the Romans, but it depends. Because if we go in the imperial period, absolutely, but if we go back to the Punic Wars against Carthage, the gladius was the weapon of the enemies of Rome. The gladius was the weapon of the Carthaginians. The Romans were using different weapons that were more closer to like falcata or other types of swords that were more common in the Celtic and Greek world. The Romans were not using gladii. Why? Well, because the first gladius is called Gladius Hispaniensis, which means from Hispania, so the Iberian Peninsula, so modern Spain. And Spain was under Carthaginian control. So the ironsmith that created the sword were in Spain, and Spain was not Roman. Thing is, though, when the Romans clashed, and eventually Scipio Africanus, the great general, manages to take control of the Iberian Peninsula and strips it from the Carthaginian rule, then what does he do? The sources tell us that he took over 100, maybe it was more, I don't remember the exact number, a fuck ton of smiths from that area, and forced them to make these really good swords to equip, mass produce them to equip the legions with it. And from that moment onward, it becomes the sword of the Romans. But when you recreate a movie or a video game, if you set it during the Punic Wars, depending on whether or not it's before this territorial expansion of Rome, then the Romans shouldn't have gladii, should be their enemies. Isn't that fascinating? And there is a few things about that has to do with that, with shields as well. But that was one characteristic of Roman power, is that they would adapt. Literally, the male cuirass that the Romans wore, chainmail, if you will, that they copied from the Gauls. And even though the most commonly used Latin term is lorica hamata, which comes from the lorica is the word that they use for armor. And if you read it lorica, it's incorrect. It's lorica. Both the O and the I are long when it comes to phonemic vowel length in Latin. So the correct pronunciation in Latin, in English, you can say whatever you want. But in Latin, it's lorica. Because I've seen people that do reenactment and they tell you in Latin, the word is lorica. Well, no, if you say in Latin, it's lorica. Both are long. Anyways, that just means armor. Possibly the root of that word has to do with leather, but they mean every armor. Every type of armor, metal, bronze, steel, whatever you like, it's lorica. And then hamata comes from hamus, which is a ring. So yeah, it's ring armor. That's what it means. But that's not a period term. The Romans did not call it lorica hamata. We created this modernly. We do know, however, what the Romans called it, and they either just called it armor, because it was that common, ubiquitous in fact, or they call it gallica, because it comes from the Gauls, which is the Latin term for the Celts, as Julius Caesar tells us. He tells us, in our language, Gauls or Galli, but in their language, Celtae, so Celts. It's the same thing. It's generally, when you say Gauls, it's continental Celts rather than insular Celts like those of Britannia and the Caledones, which would be the Picts and people in Scotland. But yeah, anyways, I'm digressing a lot, but I just wanted to say, Gladius, man, oh God, I don't even know why you put up with me. You say one word and I go into this. Anyways, thank you for the congratulations, and I think I read it. Yeah, I read all the super chats for now. I'll double check in a second. Nolan. We'll go into Nolan, all right? All right, I want to talk about Stellar Blade, guys. Let's talk about something a little more lighthearted. So, let me open a tab. Also, because I want to make sure that this is like... approved for all ages. Okay, we are. All right. So there is a video game called Stellar Blade. And yeah, Stellar Blade was a very popular video game with this one here, with Eve, who is a very popular character, usually hated by those who hate beauty. But really well received by everyone. Everyone loved the game. I haven't played it. But they are creating a new one, a sequel called Stellar Blade Blood Rain. And they showed a trailer. And in this trailer, which we could check out together, in this trailer, they presented the new protagonist. The new protagonist being Evie, I think she's called. Who's this girl here? Now, this has created a controversy that is, in fact, very similar. You know what? I'm going to find a good picture of it. This one, okay. So it's very similar, this girl here. The controversy is very similar with what we saw with the other game that was very popular recently, which was the father simulator. What was it called again? Pragmata. Pragmata, the problem was you play as this father, and then there is little android, little robot, who looks like a little girl, I don't know, 10 years old, 9, I don't know. And people said, oh, it's a PDF file game, which is kind of stupid because, I mean, yeah, she looks cute in a child sense, but the reality is the majority of people who play it, they like the game, they like the story, and most importantly, they like the idea of a healthy father-daughter relationship. But people got triggered. Now, in their defense, yeah, there are some people who are sick in the head. There's nothing you can do about that. But you shouldn't put everyone in one box. I think the game looks kind of nice, the Pragmata game. The reality is that they are triggered because they don't like the idea that there can ever be a healthy father-daughter relationship. Now, of course, if you didn't have that, my heart goes to you, and I wish you did. But unfortunately, a lot of these people that write these articles start using the PDF file accusation. They go, fuck yourself, because that's a crime. And you do not accuse someone of a crime unless you have proof. You know what I mean? It's the most disgusting thing you can ever accuse someone of. So how about we make sure we only accuse people that really are that kind of disgusting mental disorder that it is. With that being said, how is this a situation with this new Stellar Blade controversy? And I kind of want to show you. So the character in question is this character here. One moment. In case you didn't know, is this character here. Now, the split second I see an image like this, that's a woman. That's a woman. It's not a child. I don't see a child. But some people do. Some people think this is a child. And so again, if you like the game, even though that already in of itself is a straw man, because let's say that for a moment, I'll look at every point of view. We'll try to be consistent. I'll try to steel man people's arguments. I'll show you what I said about it on X. But the reality is, even if I were to agree and say, well, she does look youthful, I agree with that. She looks youthful. To me, she looks like someone who's in her early 20s, Asian. And I'm going to get back to that because it has a lot to do with this. Okay? But anyways, that's what she looks like to me. But even if you were like, no, I can prove to you that this could be a teenager, for instance, fine. But unless this was a sexual game, she fights monsters. So just because you can still like the game and think that the character is nice, even if we had to, for whatever, decide, no, this is an actual underage person, which again, to me, she doesn't look underage. But even if, right, but we are just playing the game anyways. You can like the game. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about this situation because, yeah, there are people that say, no, that's a child. All right. So we could watch the trailer if you want. But I want to show you what I said about it because when I talked about it, I actually showed some images. Because to be fair, there are some images that are a little bit, they look very, okay, I found it. So this is the image in question. I want to hear what you think. Because, of course, if I am saying something wrong, I want to know it. Maybe you'll change my mind, or maybe you'll agree with me. Let's look at these 4 screenshots, because to be fair, okay, the screenshot top left, that does look like a child. It does. Screenshot that I would say bottom left, that could be a teenager to me. Screenshot bottom right, 20 years old. That's what I see there. And screenshot top left, still youthful looking. But if you told me that's also a 20-year-old, I would believe it in the concept of Asia. And again, I'm going to speak about Asia a lot. So, what for me seals the deal, because again, it's just a little trailer, so it's not like we have seen a lot. But the one thing that kind of tells me, I think is a child, even though there is that screenshot that kind of looked like it because of the... And again, there are a lot of women that do have the little puffy cheeks. It does happen, but fine. It's youthful looking. I agree with that. It's very youthful looking. Clearly, even I'm married, but even if I wasn't married, that looks too young for me, okay? But regardless, when you look at this, I think the this is not a 6-year-old. This is not a 10-year-old. To me, this is not a 14-year-old. This, to me, looks like, again, a young woman in her 20s. Who is fit. That's what this looks to me. That's what it looks to me. Now, what about the Asian situation, though? What about the Asian situation? I'm going to be honest, guys, because I've seen when I've talked about this, there were some people that were saying, bro, but you don't know how Asian women look like. They look younger. I know. I lived in Asia for 4 years. I lived in Japan for 4 years. And let's just say that I am well-versed in what Japanese women look like. I'm just going to leave it at that, because we're going to keep some privacy here, but yeah. And I want to say this, and this is the biologically, scientifically proven reality, okay? This is how I'm going to mansplain to you how Japanese women are, and this applies to Korean women in general, okay? Japanese women look like this from age 20 to age 59 and 11 months and 29 days or 30 days. Then, it doesn't matter if they have children or not, by the way. From age 20 to age 59, that's what they look like, 0 changes. Then, on age 60, the split second, it's their birthday, they turn into a short, fat grandma with Terminator sunglasses. Like, this is scientifically proved. This is not science fiction. This is science fact. It is amazing. Like the moment it happens, like you could be going out on a date with a 59-year-old Asian woman who looks like that. And you'll be like, hey, thank you for the, we love the ramen together. See you tomorrow. ありがとうございます。すみません。Hi. ごちそうさまでした. Then you leave her. Then you go pick her up again the next day. And she now is the fat, short grandma with Terminator sunglasses. And then the moment she opens the door, you're like, こんにちは. And then she says, お兄ちゃん、すごいね. That's what she's going to say. And then you tell her, 黙れよ。何がお前は。もう知らないから。何しやがる. That's what you tell her. I do speak Japanese. That's what you tell her. And then she's telling you, Tomoko da yo. So I'm Tomoko, the same girl. And that's when you go into, すみません。申し訳ございません。すみませんね。はい。わかりました。because you didn't recognize her. You didn't recognize. Okay, so now that I've given you this crash course in Asian biology, okay, I think this is nothing. I honestly, genuinely think this whole controversy is stupid. It's stupid, doesn't mean anything, it's not a big deal. Who cares? But that's just me. I think this looks like an average 20-year-old Asian girl. Full stop. That's what I see, personally. If you, however, see a child, it makes you a little uncomfortable, fine, don't play it. Don't play it. But please stop the PDF file accusation just because someone, and besides, it's not a dating simulator now, is it? So who cares? And that was my take on this. And I think if, just as a final statement, I'm going to say this. You know what I really think this controversy is about? It's because there are some women with nose rings, septum specifically, usually blue hair, that are jealous of natural beauty. I think that's what it is. In the sense that you might find this offensive, you know what, at least I'm non-filtered. At least I tell you what I think, I don't pander. I really think said women also want all men to be attracted only to ugly, fat women or trans. That's acceptable. Anything else, PDF file. They have to, because if they don't say, and by the way, it's really funny, and I'm going to cook. I'm going to tell you how it is. If you like anyone who is younger than them, PDF file. If you like blonde women, you are, the Jews will not replace us. And even if you like, tell me if I'm telling the truth, even if you like black women, they have to be ugly and fat to be feminists approved. And when I say feminist, I don't mean the feminist from 1920s that got the right to vote. I'm talking about current day septum ring specifically. Even black women have to be ugly and fat to be approved by the likes of this Kotaku and writers and this shit. Because otherwise, check my words, if you like a beautiful black woman, it's a slave fetish. Not my words. They use this against J.D. Vance, and this is even beyond politics. Not that J.D. Vance's wife is black, but she is non-white, right? She's POC. POC? POC? Let me show you this. They said he has a slave fetish. That's why. You know, let's forget for a moment. I'm going to ask you for a mental exercise right now. Mental exercise, okay? Forget this guy is the vice president. Forget this guy is a right-winger. Forget this guy is a conservative. Clear your mind. Politics aside. He could be far left, far right, or even worse, far centrists. Gotta be careful to those. You know what I see here? I see a loving couple. I see a husband who loves his wife and a wife who is proud and grateful for her husband. A husband who's grateful for her wife. A wife who loves him. People who managed to overcome cultural barriers for love. Now, you can hate his politics, but to even insinuate that this guy has a slavery fetish? Yeah, so, on this channel is truth. The reality is that the very people that hate Stellar Blade, they hate everything, and every time they can, they're gonna reshape the very textures on the 3D models of non-existing women and turn them ugly, while also deleting systematically every redhead that you'll ever see in any video game. They are gone. They are gone. The reality is that they are ugly as shit inside and outside, and thus they see all forms of beauty as competition, and thereby they use any excuse possible to vilify you. To vilify you. And what's the easiest way to vilify you? To call you a PDF file because you like a woman that is younger than you. And that concludes the section about Stellar Blade. I'm gonna go into Nolan now. It's Nolan time! Nolan. I'm gonna close a few tabs, guys. I'm gonna check the super chats, and then we're going into Nolan, my friend. Let me see. Eve's appearance is based off of Alita from the 90s cyberpunk manga Alita Battle Angel. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. If you pull up a picture of Alita, they look similar. Oh, no, I believe you. Nicola says, Nicolaos, sorry, lived in Japan for over a year. My wife is Chinese. Many Asian adults naturally look youthful. Yeah, and it's also because they don't use 15 different layers of makeup as well. There is that. That's not the same as looking like a child. Of course, obviously. Obviously, they are jealous of prettier women. Yeah, which is so strange because, to be honest, I don't know. But when I see someone like, let me think of Brad Pitt, in it, when he played Achilles, which was peak physique for that man. I wasn't jealous. I'm like, ooh, I want to be him. I never understood jealousy for something someone else has, like envy. I think such an ugly sentiment. Yep, the Romans literally destroyed Carthage. Yep, but they didn't salt it. The salting of the earth is nonsense. That's not true. It's not mentioned in any source. It's not a thing. Yeah, so I read the super chats. Thank you very much. How you guys doing? You need to go, Roy Rat. No problem. No problem. Bread pita. Yeah. Bread pita is good. Bread pita. You know the pita I don't like? Lou pita. Thank you. One moment. Phone call. You guys crack me up. You wrote ISIS calling. I mean, if ISIS had a problem with me, it would have happened during the interview. Just started learning Persian and Iran's culture and history so fascinating. I agree. I love the traditional clothes. Have you seen those? The only Middle East country whose culture survived Islam, partially. Persian is so beautiful. Would be cool to see you explore it. Yeah, I agree. Sorry, so my wife just called me. She says she feels a little bad. Her head is a little dizzy. She feels a little nausea, so I'm gonna go check on her, and then I'll come back and I'll tell you if I'm gonna suspend the stream or if I'm gonna continue the stream because she feels better. Okay, so give me 5 minutes of chair stream. Thank you for understanding. I'll be right back. All right, we are back. So let me give you an update very quickly. Thank you for your patience, by the way. Just want to check one thing super fast. How are we doing here? Yeah. All right, guys. So, yeah, no, she's not feeling great. So I think I'm going to suspend the stream. I'm going to take care of her and take care of the baby. But at the end of the day, I was only going to do one more thing because I am getting a little tired myself. We don't sleep much, particularly me. So, doesn't change a lot. So what I'm going to do, and I hope you understand, I do want to take care of her. She doesn't feel great and I want to be there for her. But anyways, we were here for like a decent amount of time, weren't we? Let me see. And we'll have another stream soon. So, no problem. I hope you're okay with that. But thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Let me double check that we'll do some good Nowland. And then I'm gonna see if I can post a Nowland one. Ooh, my dog is here. Ooh, wait, you get this to see the dog though. Let me do the special. Winston, come here. You get to see the dog. Look at this. Look at this. So there we go. He just followed me because I went downstairs and he follows me everywhere. So there we go. You got that extra dog. Isn't that adorable? So you got the dog. Let me see. Just at the, oh yeah, I read the one about Persian. So thank you so much. And I'm also hungry. So actually this is a good opportunity for me to cook the killer pasta that I make really well. So I can make it for me and her. The baby can't eat the pasta just yet. We'll get to it. We'll get to it eventually. It's too young for pasta, but yeah, it's not a Shiba. He's Pomeranian. Anyways, thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate you joining the stream. I think we covered quite a few things, and then we'll do another stream soon. Thank you for understanding. I really appreciate that. Metatron cooking when? Tonight, I think I'm making tagliatelle al ragù bolognese. We do the right things here. I can put the baby right next to me while my wife rests, and then I'll make ragu. She'll feel much better after it. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. And yeah, it's buono, right? And I will talk to you soon. Of course, do remember that I post twice a day. So tomorrow there's going to be 2 more videos, and then we'll continue my own personal odyssey against Nolan. And apart from that, have a great one with a little grated Nolan. Yeah. Bye. Take care. Have a good one. Ciao, ciao, ciao. We stop the Rumble. Then we stop YouTube. I don't know why I narrate it, but I do. Oh, there is one thing I wanted to check. 1 second. I know you're still here, but why not? It's good. It's good to be here. All right. Bye.